will begin tomorrow. Issues include pay and benefits, class size, and teacher preparation. Last major teacher strike in Chicago was 2012. I'm Barbara Cusack.
The Truth Frequent Radio Network. TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question 30.
This code has been compromised.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, October 16th, 2019. If you are watching the live stream on YouTube, the setting's a little bit different tonight. I'm in the guest room, and a very generous individual goes by the name of Crimson. He sent me a bunch of gifts in the mail, and some gifts are still coming. But he sent me this stand-up desk. And I don't have a lot of room in my house, so the only place I could put it was on the end of the guest bed, which is where it is right now. And he sent me this nice rubber mat, which you can't see, that's meant for standing on. And he sent me this nice lamp that's providing the lights. And he said, you know, he encouraged me to stand more when I work because it would be better for my health. And I thought, you know what, that's a great idea, because I'm always complaining about how much I'm sitting. I'm often complaining during the radio show how bad my back hurts. And yeah, that's been the one downside of this work is sitting. So I'm trying to get in the practice of working and standing. And of course, sometimes it is nice to sit. But for the full 3-hour show tonight, we'll do it standing. And thank you again to Crimson. Very appreciative. And still coming in the mail is a really special chair that's supposed to perfect your posture. Apparently, it's impossible to have bad posture when sitting in this chair. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So with that out of the way, should answer a lot of people's questions. Why in the world is he standing, and where is he anyway? Again, we are in the guest bedroom, and we're standing for health. But with that out of the way, we can go out to the callers. You know, there's a whole bunch of things we could talk about. But again, I stay pretty active online. I put my content out on blogs, YouTube, Patreon. So I feel like I've said all I have to say for today. What I like to do with this radio program is open it up to the callers and also chime in on the thoughts of the callers. So if you do want to call in tonight, it is a caller-driven show. The number is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. The first caller has been on hold for 71 minutes. So I am not sure they actually called in for my show, or maybe they're being super patient. But we're going to go out to Idaho and see if they have been waiting to phone into this program. Idaho, you got the floor. Well, maybe Idaho is just standing by listening. Oh, Idaho? Idaho, I heard some movement. All right, maybe Idaho is just listening. Okay, we can go out to Minnesota. Minnesota, how are you this evening?
Man, how you doing, brother? This is Starface Eagle.
Good to hear from you,
man,
friend.
I didn't even know you had this new channel. I haven't even getting anything from you, so that's kind of why I just called in. Is just, man, they're blocking your stuff.
Yeah, my channel got deleted at the end of September, and my new channel is Zachary K. Hubbard on YouTube. If you search for that, you should find some new content there.
Yes, I just found it as you were talking, brother. So the first thing I want to talk about is just the NFL every week is becoming more and more like wrestling. And it's funny how they seem to pick on the Lions, because people don't forget they made that bogus call on the Lions in the playoffs a few years ago.
The Cowboys
Dallas
game.
got to go ahead in the playoffs.
Yep.
Huh?
Yeah, the Cowboys game, I remember.
And the call, yes, and the calls the other night made no sense. And but see, this is what people forget is any exposure is good exposure. They want people talking about it. That's why when Russell Wilson threw that interception, it kept people talking about it, and that's what they like. But that makes pro football more like wrestling, and so that's all I had to say. Is I just wanted to kind of connect with you and listen to the show as well. So that's all I really had to add tonight.
Sure, and just so you know,
as always, thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, and just so you know, I did do a video on the Lions game the other night, and the two bogus calls at the end on Trey Flowers. The name Trey Flowers equals 59, and it was 59 days from his birthday. And of course, there were a few other things with it as well. It was the 1-year anniversary of the game where I called the NFL League Office over, which was also a Packers game in Green Bay. Packers trailed the whole game to the 49ers. They rallied at the end. They won it with a late field goal, 33-30. And this year, pretty much the exact same scenario. They trailed to the Lions the whole game. They took the lead in the closing seconds to win it. And both games, a year apart from each other, both fell on dates with 63 numerology. Aaron Rodgers equals 63. Mason Crosby equals 63. Mason Crosby scored the winning points in both games. Last year, Aaron Rodgers got his 63rd home win all time in that game. And again, it was on a 63-date numerology, and the score was 33-30, 63 points. Last year, the announcer, who I believe was Joe Buck, at the end called out, "What a Hollywood script." And this year at the end of the game, on the play where Trey Flowers got his second phantom call just before the flag was thrown, Joe Buck yelled out, "Hollywoodish." And again, it's like the script is so tight they even got the announcer making pretty much the same statement a year later. So it is a joke.
Yes, and it's a mocking of the people, though. That's what they do, because the announcers know, because I show every time the announcers get on, because announcers aren't on air, but they're giving the signs of the beast, that they agree with the beast, that they've sold their soul for fame, and you see it over and over again. You see anybody on television, like watch Colin. Colin, every hour he's on, he throws the beast sign 3 or 4 times, and then you see all these people in Fox. You wouldn't think, sold their soul, but you see them all throwing the signs that show they sold their soul. And so the amount of time they're on television is the amount of signs they have to show. And so just beware of that, everyone. But that's all I had. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. You have a good night. Take care.
You too. All right.
And just to chime on one more thing about that game, at the end of the game, just before the Packers scored their winning points, they put up a stat on the screen. It said Aaron Rodgers has 20 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime in his career, 5 of which are against the Lions. So 20 game-winning drives, 5 against the Lions in the fourth quarter or overtime. Well, this was NFL Week 6, right? So his 6th game-winning drive against the Lions in Week 6. By the way, Lions equals 66. So you get a nice little 666 tribute there. And then he got his 21st game-winning drive overall. If you add 1 through 6 together, it equals 21. The first game of Week 6 was the Patriots beating the Giants. And at halftime, the Patriots had 21 points. And at the end of the game, they won by a margin of 21 points. 35-14. 21, the 6th triangular number. Patriots began the year 6-0. Gillette Stadium equals 60. And this is the Patriots' 60th season. Again, when you learn this knowledge, you can see right through the scripts. Last night, Major League Baseball, easy call that the Nationals were going to advance to the World Series. Yesterday left 77 days left in the year. Washington, D.C.'s on the 77th meridian. D.C. equals 77. And the Cardinals picked up their 77th loss of the season. And then think about the date. 1015, lose the 0, 115. Nationals advance to the 115th World Series. Cardinals, the city St. Louis, the only city in MLB just using the alphabetic order that sums to 115. So they advance over the perfect team. And not only that, but they advanced on the owner's birthday. So happy birthday to the Nationals owner. Rig Sports by the numbers, all leagues easily exposed with this knowledge. So let's try Las Vegas.
Yo, what's up, Zach?
What's up, man?
Oh man, another beautiful day, man. Another beautiful day.
That's good.
You know, I'm able to open up my mind, man. I feel free. I feel better.
For some reason, we're getting your voice twice. It's looping. Is there something you got going on in the background?
Oh, can you still hear that? That was a video. I have it on the YouTube channel too.
Okay, yeah.
YouTube is like a second behind.
Okay.
That's what it is.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, I just see you standing over there right now. So that makes me, you know, I can see you, so that's good. But anyway, man, I wanted to drop some knowledge that I was looking up. So I'm sure you heard about, you know, all the words with in the word ship, right? Like all the words have the word ship in it. Like apprenticeship, sportsmanship, relationship, marksmanship, championship, scholarship, companionship, friendship, membership, dealership, spaceship.
Right.
So the reason I want to talk about the word ship is because it's like a reference, because I looked up the word ships equals 26 in Gematria, and I know that the word God equals 26 and heaven equals 26, you know, all those connections. It is interesting because when we talk about ships, everything is like a C, like you know how like on our bank account we say current C. You see the word C in there?
Sure.
And now we have all these ships, and then when you and then when you sell your house, notice how like you could sail it like a boat, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like the Freemasons have some, you know, they love water. It's like they're trying to tell us that we live on water.
Well, that all goes back to the Knights Templar, because it's all maritime law and the language. And the Knights Templar, when they were exiled from Europe, they became pirates, so they were at sea. So that's where all that comes from.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Even like in the NFL, like we said, the NFL season, you know what I'm saying? That word C is in there, you know? And then how we do, like, we talk about currents, like we elect our presidents, like, you know, like electricity, you know, and we go vote in polls, like vote is in volt, or, you know, polls, like electrical polls, to elect our president who's in charge. So we give it a charge. You see what I'm saying now? And like when we swipe our card, we get charged. You know what I mean? So it's like all the connotation. Like the Masons like to mix and match words, so they give words multiple meanings. You know, because you could use the word like see and see. Like you could see with your eyes, and you could see with the see in the sea. So that's something I learned this week, and I thought that was pretty interesting because I've been doing that with a lot of words. Like how we misuse so many words, like even the word morning. Like how we say good morning, and then, you know, we all know what morning means. Morning means to mourn someone when they die and all that. And then, you know, you awake in the morning, and we know what awake is, you know, so it's like everything is backwards.
Right.
The Masons have made everything freaking backwards. Yeah. So, and then when I just typed in the word ship and it equals 26 and the word God equals 26, I actually say, okay, so I see the connections. They're making themselves to play God with these ships and these things. Even like the word doctor, you know, doctor. What is a doc? A doc is like you know, where you bring the stuff from the ships, you know? You dock everything from the ships, and that's what doctors do. They dock you. You know what I'm saying? Like a ship. That's what everything, all these ships.
Sure.
You know?
And just to be clear, you're
stuff.
saying ship equals 26, but it's actually the plural ships that's 26, right?
Yeah, ships. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting, you know, and you know, I just want to put that out there because, you know, people need to know that because they're trying to reverse everything, put everything in reverse. You know what I'm saying? Reverse everything. So it's like we're completely backwards as a society. You know, we're totally going backwards because of our language. We have to understand our language. Have to understand our language. You know, and I think that was a pretty good breakdown of it, how they use those words. But that's what they wanted to get out there, though. So, you know, that's what I really wanted to say.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, great thought. Keep up the good work, friend. You have a good night.
All right, Zach. You too.
All right. Take care. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. When you started thinking about it, I was like, yeah, there is ship in a lot of words. So the things you take for granted. Rambo's up next. I'm gonna wait, Rambo. I'm gonna save you for after the break because we only got 10 minutes till the break, and I know Rambo, he needs more than 10 minutes. So we'll have Rambo first thing after the break. Can't wait for that. Let's go out to Texas.
Hey Zach, how you doing?
Doing well.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that sounds better. It sounded kind of funny at first.
Okay, in light of the Yankees loss to the Astros in the last game, which was 4-1, and it was obviously scripted as a tribute to 41, okay, because it was on the 77th day, 77 days left.
Right.
What are the chances that it's going to be a Yankees Nationals World Series as opposed to an Astros Nationals World Series? Which has stronger scripting?
Well, again, the Steve Scalise shooting is part of the, for people who forgot, the Steve Scalise shooting on Trump's 71st birthday, June 14th, 2017, the Republican at baseball practice. Right. On that same day, if you go back and look at the MLB box scores from that day, the Braves beat the Nationals 13-2. Keep in mind there's 132 rooms in the White House. United States of America equals 132. And on that same day, the Astros beat the Rangers 13-2. And what we did all this year on Patreon was documented all these games that were synced up between the Astros and Rangers with the death of HW and Skull and Bones. And at the end of the year, the Nationals got a Skull and Bones tribute, which we talked about. So the fact that, because again, the Bush family used to run the Rangers, and then the year that the Astros won the World Series, 2017, which was the year of the Steve Scalise shooting. And by the way, the Steve Scalise shooting was 132 days before the Astros won the World Series. In light of the fact that it's synced up with those teams, I think it's more likely it ends up being Nationals and Astros. On all year decoding, there was a lot of stuff synced up with the Yankees in the start of the World Series. They could still end up being there, but the fact that at the end of the year, they completed all the Skull and Bones tributes that they did throughout the season by including the Nationals in it, it has me thinking that, again, Astros, Nationals are the ones. The Bush family was out there on the field when the Astros won the World Series. So, and HW died in Houston, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would tend to agree with you that the scripting is closer to an Astros appearance than the Yankees. Although it could go either way, but it's kind of hard to figure out though. It's really almost a toss up. The Bushes were a fixture at Minute Maid Park in Houston, all the Astros games, so they're very close to the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Anyway, that's all I wanted to make an observation about. But great work. Good to see you're standing.
We'll see if I make it the whole show. All right. Appreciate it, man. You have a good night.
All right. Take care.
All right. Take care. Yeah, the name Steve Scalise equals 77, like secret society, like United States, like power, like how Flight 77 on 9/11. 77 is the number in DC. So again, yesterday, the Nationals in DC advanced to the World Series on the day leaving 77 days left in the year, and gave the Cardinals their 77th total loss of the season. And then the final score was 4-7. St. Louis equals 47, DC equals 47. The Nationals advanced to the National League Championship Series on the bat of number 47, who hit the grand slam against the Dodgers. When he hit that grand slam, it was 89 days after his birthday. Grand slam equals 89. Los Angeles Dodgers equals 89. When you run the alphabetic order the other way, Los Angeles Dodgers equals 73, like how they won 7-3 after the grand slam that gave them that lead. Again, you learn this knowledge, you can just see how scripted things are, and you can see how the world of politics and rigged sports come together all the time with real, tangible evidence. Let's go out to Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland. And actually, before I go to Cleveland, Ohio, again, just a reminder, the National Skull and Bones ritual at the end of the season involved Cleveland, Ohio. On the Jesuit birthday, September 27th, Cleveland got their 48th home win. That was a date with 48 numerology. Cleveland equals 48. And it was a span of 223 days from the death of Geronimo, the anniversary of the death of Geronimo, which is February 17th, the 48th day of the year. 223 days matters because 223 is the 48th prime number. And again, Skull and Bones, the story is that Prescott Bush, the father of HW, stole Geronimo's skull. And I don't know if you guys noticed on Indigenous Peoples Day, Geronimo, the football player for the Packers, got wasted. And consider last year the Redskins got wasted on Monday Night Football on Columbus Day / Indigenous Peoples Day. So just wanted to get that nugget out there again. Let's go out to Cleveland.
Zach, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hey, do you remember that one guy that used to, call the show pretty often, and you end up making some videos on YouTube on one of your previous channels about how he began to troll you? He had I believe his name was Tony, but he had a real weird squeaky voice. Do you remember that guy?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Remember who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Oh, okay. It's kind of weird because I remember about a year ago on the show, he kind of predicted that the Nationals would be in the World Series in 2019. So that's kind of interesting that.
Caller, are you there? I think we lost caller. But if that's true, if Tony called it, good for him. That'd probably be the first right thing he ever called in his life, because I think today he's 0 for 1,000. But yeah, the whole Steve Scalise shooting, that was the time of the 115th Congress. It's the 115th World Series. So I'll try Cleveland back here in a little bit. Let's go out to North Carolina.
What's going on, bud? You all righty?
What's up, man?
Not much, brother. I was just calling to check in on you. A little quick thing I noticed on the news today. Maybe I noticed it on the day. Just today, it just rung the bell, made me throw it in the demotionator. But have you noticed Joe Biden keeps saying, "I'll beat him like a drum"? He knows I'm going to beat him like a drum. I know he's been saying this for about a week. So this is punchline, right?
Right.
So I put it in there and I get this 59. Isn't this the 59th election going to come up?
That's right. It's going to be the 59th U.S. presidential election.
Yeah, I thought so, man. I was wondering why he keeps saying that, man. That's just to let you know, man. All this stuff is just a big game they play with you, man. The whole thing's a big game. Like, even with the pulling the truth, this is just a big game they play with you, man.
That's exactly right.
It's just the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, man. Just a big game, man. They just play all the people. And I be trying to tell people this, man, and it's really so crazy. They play with you with the fear so much. We got to quit being scared, man, because what they do is make you think that this world is very dangerous. It's not. They are very dangerous. And we have to realize that shit. They're the ones who make all these calls. They're the people who who control all these major weapons and all that. And they want you to think that all of a sudden these regular people, man, I keep telling people, I'm like, why is you worried about leaving a war? We supposed to leave a war. Who gives a fuck? Why would we want to be over there killing all these innocent damn people? All the people who got something to do with this shit is never the people that die.
Yeah.
I say these people, I say, man, they play this big ass game with you, and it's nothing but a bunch of powerful governments. They all play the same game. They're the fucking dangerous people. Nobody else is dangerous. They're dangerous.
This is true.
So, you know, like I tell you, you know, don't get me wrong. Right now they got Trump playing the good guy, even though he's fucking dangerous too. Because only them kind of people get to make them kind of calls. They're the dangerous people, and we have to really pay attention to what's going on. And when I see that beat them like a drum, that's why I keep saying that, because it's the 59th election. So regardless of whoever wins, probably get beat like a drum. And also that 59 actually equals Negro too at the same time. So you never know. In a metaphor of him being, because he looks you dead, he looks dead at that camera when he says it every time. He looks dead into that camera. I know he knows I'm gonna beat him like a drum. And he keeps saying that. That's his line. If you pay attention, you'll hear it again. That's all the fuck he's saying.
Yeah, you're right on. Well, I appreciate it.
You know, these are some sick people.
Yeah, you're right on. Thank you so much, friend. Brother. The commercial music's about to start, so.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right.
Yep, no doubt. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Take care. All right, we got a quick commercial break. Just remember, you guys, when you call TFR, because we are on TFR, you're not supposed to cuss. So just a reminder for the rest of the show. We'll be right back, everybody.
And host of Beyond the Veil. The mainstream media and establishment are running scared right now, and they've prominently featured TrueFrequencyRadio.com as number 89 on the federal government's hit list, also known as the fake news list, which is essentially a list of sites slated for censorship on Facebook, YouTube, Google, and other social media. Now is the time for you to get involved. Share your favorite TFR shows far and wide on forums and social media. Tell your friends and family about your favorite shows. If you're a business owner, get in touch with us to feature your product or service right here on TFR. And if you haven't done so already, become a TFR supporter now and get unlimited commercial-free downloads in high quality. Visit truthfrequencyradio.com/sign-up. Thank you for making TFR the leader in independent and uncensored talk radio. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move. When you have a great melody, a song lasts forever.
Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes.
Did you know you can listen to Truth Frequency Radio on iHeartRadio? Just download the app to your smartphone, or smart TV, and get the best of TFR wherever you are.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
So, you love talk radio, then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death. This is Uncle Walt from the Ironworks. Josh, Corey, and I have chosen to look at life with no fear. No fear of the unknown. No fear of questions about the supposedly well-known. No fear of ridicule for thinking outside the familiar fool's lines. No fear of the boot on the neck of those refusing the party line. No fear of taking on those so convinced of their beliefs they would sooner drink the Kool-Aid than believe they've been fools made. In this world filled with me too, cattle think, can truth's protective layers be peeled back to show the tender, juicy pink? Are we all just grist for the mill? Souls sold against our will, or is that just how it feels? When you're filled to the rim with triviality so fear-filled and grim, break clear of the fear. Right here, Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 a.m. on TFR. Josh and I and you will hammer out the impurities of technology-driven groupthink, fold in a dash of logic, and quench it all with a critical circle. The iron works. Break free of the fear.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back. Truth Seeker. This is the Gematria Effect. I'm Zachary K. Hubbard. We're here for 2.5 more hours. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. If you want to phone in tonight, the number is 213-233-3998. Last caller just phoned in and said, hey, have you seen Joe Biden saying he'll beat Donald Trump like a drum? And I typed in Biden like a drum, and about 1,000 news headlines came up. And every last one of them is either emphasizing the phrase like a drum or I'll beat him like a drum. And what's funny about both those phrases is like a drum equals 59, like the caller said. The upcoming elections, the 59th presidential election. Remember all the 58 rituals with Trump. Trump announced he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower. He hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day. Hillary put out a book called What Happened, about why she lost. What happened equals 58. On Inauguration Day, if you watched, you might recall that all you really saw was Ivanka Trump because the camera just sat on Ivanka. Guess what Ivanka equals? 58. Of course, Freemasonry equals 58. So does secret society. So does Rosicrucian. So does United States. So does Washington. Very special number 58. If you read my book, long list of 58, what it's all about, biblical number. And with regards to 59, again, upcoming elections 59, if you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Freemasonry sums to 59, as it does 58 as well. And in Hebrew, Freemasonry also sums to 59. Don't forget, modern Freemasonry began in the year 1717. 59 is the 17th prime number. And from 1717 to 1776, the year this nation was established by a bunch of Masons, 59 years later. So again, it does show you what club these people belong to. And it is all theater. It's political theater. These actors, from Joe Biden to Donald Trump, these catchphrases that they use, these things that they, emphasize and repeat in periods of time, it's all ritualistic. And it shows you they're taking orders. They're following instructions. So also, when I just went to look for that headline, I saw a breaking news story about a boxer who just died. The headline is, Boxer Dies 4 days after being knocked out. Again, 4 in death. I mean, just pay attention to how often in headlines you see the number 4 and death. Again and again. It's just nonstop. And again, in Mandarin Chinese, you pronounce the word 4 the same as you pronounce the word death. In the East, the number 4 is associated with death. So let me try Cleveland one more time because his connection got screwed up. And then after Cleveland, we'll go to Rambo, who's waiting. Cleveland, are you still there?
Yeah, Zach, can you hear me?
There, that's good.
I don't know exactly where I got cut off at, but basically what I was saying, how the number's 110 on the 13 moon calendar. I think that it was posted a blog post about the number 110 in Trump's impeachment.
Okay.
If you go to the seventh month in the first day of the 13-moon calendar, 7/1, that is January 10th. It's the day that we write 1/10. Now I know Elizabeth Warren, you know, she's 71 years old. I know the first Democratic debate was all about the number 71. So I think that that's pretty interesting. Also, if you go to the 10th month in the first day, 10/1, the day falls on the 10th moon in the first day is April 4th, 4/4. So we know how infamous that number is as well. Last week, I had a caller who was calling in and talked about the relationship between China and the NBA and how he saw a connection between the numbers 11 and 23. Well, if you go to the 11th month and the 23rd day on the 13-moon calendar, that leaves two moons and 5 days left, 2/5. You know, we've been seeing this narrative with Trump and how he could be removed with the 25th Amendment. I don't know whether that means that he'll be removed on November 23rd. But I did think that was interesting when I heard the caller say that last week. Also, 2/5 looks a lot like February 5th. If you look for February 5th on the 13-moon calendar, it falls on the 7th moon and the 27th day. So 7/27, 277 is the 59th prime. We are in, you know, the up and coming 59th presidential election. So I don't know whether that means that Trump will be removed before the election comes up, or if that's more so a clue saying that whatever candidate has the stronger connection to the numbers 277, or, you know, that sequence of numbers, whether that candidate would be the next possible winner. Another thing I found interesting, and I'll pretty much cap it off with this, is yesterday the Cavs lost 95-118 to the Boston Celtics. And if you go to the 11th moon in the 8th day, 11/8 on the 13-moon calendar, it is May 5th, 5/9. So the Cavs lose with 95, and the Boston Celtics won with 118. And with 118 points. So
the Celtics,
for me, when I saw the final score, it was like obvious for me.
Celtics equals 118, just like Patriots. They love that number up there. You see a lot of Celtics scores with 118. So it just goes to show, even in the preseason, they do the same thing they do in the regular season. Yeah.
Exactly. You know what's weird about that, Zach? Because that day, that morning, I was doing my daily decode. And, I played the lottery. And in the morning, my decode, everything was pointing me towards, 5/9. So I'm like, okay, that's what I'm going to play. I'm going to play, 509. That's what I played. I mean, it didn't fall, but it was interesting when I saw later on that night the Cavs lost with 95 points. So I was like, wow, okay, that was kind of interesting. That's probably where, I probably should have went with that number, But that's pretty much all I got for the day, man. I don't know whether you heard me, whether I was mentioning the guy, Tony. I believe last year on the show, man, he said that the Washington Nationals will be in the World Series, man, in 2019. It's kind of interesting that they are going, so that's kind of weird. But I don't know what's your relationship with that guy nowadays. I mean, I don't really see him on YouTube anymore. So
I never had a relationship with that guy. I can't stand him. Total tool. All right. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah. Good work. All right. So... yeah, the guy he's talking about, I mean, maybe he misremembered. I have trouble believing that guy ever put out a correct prediction. I mean, for the guy he's talking about, he's a guy who showed up out of nowhere, started making gematria videos, contradicting everything that I was saying, where pretty much everything I put out was correct. And he was saying, oh, Zach's going to be wrong. It's going to be this. And people who follow Zach's an idiot. And it's like, dude. And it went on and on and on. It's like, okay, I've been right 8 times in a row. You've been wrong 8 times in a row. In your 9th video, you're saying people who are trusting my opinion are idiots. I mean, this has to be a joke. So anyway, let's go out to Rambo. What's up, Rambo?
Oh, nothing much, but that's the highlight of my week again. Thanks again.
course, brother.
Yeah, I had some thoughts with some of the previous callers while I was on hold. There's some synchronicity there. The last caller, he talked about the moon calendar. He brought up 7-1. I think it was the seventh moon, the first day. He brought up 7-1. Yeah, that's actually going to be part of my decode. It's also related to. He was talking about the Nationals. How someone predicted the Nationals might win. It's related to Washington D.C. That's actually going to be part of my decode.
Okay.
Also, coming back from the break, there's a song, it was Stevie Nicks singing the song Gypsy by Fleetwood Mac. But Stevie Nicks is 71.
That's funny.
She did the song Edge of 17. Yeah, she did the song Edge of 17, like a 17, a reflection of 71.
Huh.
And of course, it was just like the white-winged dove sings the song, sounds like she's singing. But dove is 17. That's going to be part of my decode because dove in French is Colombe, but that's where you get the word Columbia. That's where you get the term District of Columbia. So yeah,
perfect.
Some synchronicity there. Yeah. Also, we're talking about Trump. How 59 seems to be a number now with Trump. This 59 is a Mercury number. 59. It takes 59 Earth days for the planet Mercury to complete one revolution on its own axis. So 59 is related to Mercury. Donald Trump is a Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So that's why you're seeing 59. That has to do with Mercury. Donald Trump is associated with Mercury, being a Gemini. And also, the caller who called earlier, he was talking about how language is reversed. I just want to give a quick example of how there's reversed language. The term, the suffix or prefix ab, that means not. So something that's not normal, you'd say it's abnormal. So something that's not original to a place, you'd call it aboriginal. The term aboriginal means not original. But that term is used to the native Australians. They're referred to as aboriginals. But that's reverse language. They are the original Australians, but yet you call them aboriginals. So that's a misnomer, and that's another example of a reversal of language. You call the native population, the original population, you refer to them as not original. That's why I never use the term aboriginal to refer to them. I like native Australians because they are original.
Sure.
But yeah. So last week I said that the Connecticut Sun would win Game 5 of the WNBA Final, the deciding game. Of course, that did not happen. I was wrong, but I didn't really do a full decode on the two teams. I just saw that Sun summed to 54, and I saw how 54 had been dominant in all fields this season. And I saw how the Mohegan Sun Complex, that's their home, that's where they play. Right. Its anniversary was on October 12th, the day after the last game of the final series. So it seemed like a perfect synchronicity. But it was just an off-the-cuff prediction without a decode. But the number 54 is what stood out. But as I've often mentioned, in Chinese zodiac, 2019 is the year of the pig. Year of the pig in Gematria sums to 54. Multiple award winners have had names that sum to 54 this year. 54 is the value of Venus. Multiple award winners have been of tropical zodiacal signs that are ruled by Venus, which are namely Libra and Taurus. So this is mostly about Venus and the sacred feminine force. Toronto Raptors sums to 71 and 82. Just like sacred feminine sums to 71 and 82. There's that number 71. The Washington Mystics won the WNBA title. Venus sums to 81 in the simplest cipher, ordinal, as well as 27. Just as Mystics sums to 81 and 27. The WNBA was founded on April 24th, a date under Taurus, ruled by Venus, and a date that leaves 251 days in the year. 251 is the 54th prime number. If you spell out 54, you get gematria values of 126 and 45, just as Emma Messerman sums to 126 and 45. Emma Messerman is the finals MVP. So again, her name, Emma Messerman, matches up with 54 spelled out. Emma Messerman, needless to say, is a Taurus, born May 13th. So there you go. Another award in 2019 goes to a Taurus, ruled by Venus. I gave an example last week of how the latest 2019 Mr. Olympia bodybuilding title went to Brandon Curry, who's a Libra. He was born on October 19th. So the streak continues. The WNBA regular season MVP is the Washington Mystics, Elena Delle Donne. Elena Delle Donne and the Mystics represent Washington, D.C., a city founded on the sacred feminine, as well as the United States as a country. The moon is a metaphor for the sacred feminine. The moon rules the zodiac of Cancer. July 4th is under Cancer for that reason. Columbia is America's goddess. Yes, the United States of America has its own goddess. Columbia is a name derived from the French word for dove. Colombe. The dove represents the sacred feminine from ancient Babylon's goddess Semiramis, who was represented by a dove, which Christianity adopted to represent the Holy Spirit. So the District of Columbia is the District of the Dove. A statue of the goddess Columbia sits atop the U.S. Capitol dome. A dome is an architectural representation of a womb. In gematria, dove equals 17. Dome equals 17 and 71. Womb sums to 17. A womb nurtures a fetus. Fetus sums to 17 and 71. Sacred feminine sums to 71. So representing the District of the Dove, 2019 WNBA MVP, her name, Elena Delle Donne, sums to 71. In Jewish gematria cipher, her first name, Elena, sums to 71. Another famous representative of the District of the Goddess, Columbia, the District of the Dove, is Doug Williams of the Washington Redskins, the first Black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Doug Williams wore number 17, representing the District of the Dove, wore the number of the Dove. He was also the 17th overall pick of the draft. In gematria, Doug Williams sums to 71. I find it interesting also, the first caller said was on hold for 71 minutes, and I thought, oh, that syncs with what I'm about to talk about. But also, Sacred Feminine is 82. Washington Nationals is 82. Washington Nationals is also 107. In numerology, that's the same as 17. So there's that number again with the DC, the District of Columbia, the District of the Dove. Also, Nationals is 57. If you spell out 4th of July, it's 57. That's because moon is 77, because the United States was founded under Cancer, ruled by the moon. Birth is 57, birth ritual 57. So again, there's a sacred feminine principle applied to Washington, D.C., and it's exhibited in the sporting events and sporting representatives, the Mystics, Doug Williams, the Nationals, it's all there. Washington, D.C.'s placement between the states of Virginia and Maryland is further invocation of the sacred feminine. Virginia, Maryland is Virgin Mary. The birthday of the Virgin Mary is recognized as September 8th. I learned that from you, Zach. I didn't even know until you said it. But that's a big one. The Virgin Mary born September 8th. That makes the Virgin Mary a Virgo. Virgo Maria. but she's called in Latin, which really means Virgo Mary. It doesn't mean Virgin Mary. Virgo Maria means Virgo Mary. Elena Delle Donne of the Washington Mystics, born September 5th, is also a Virgo. The sign of Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Elena Delle Donne has the same birthday as the singer Freddie Mercury, who's recently been honored with a multiple Oscar-winning movie. Freddie Mercury was also born on September 5th. And as it's written in Wikipedia, she was drafted by the Chicago Sky and led them to the 2014 WNBA Finals, where she would be defeated by the Phoenix Mercury.
Perfect.
Not a coincidence, I think.
Perfect.
So now I'll segue. Yeah. So I'll segue from Venus to Mercury. The Virgin Mary is a Virgo. Her son, born September 11th, see the work of pastor and meteorologist Ernest L. Martin and his books, The Birth of Christ Recalculated. A very heavily suppressed work. That's why so few people heard of him, because he was very heavily suppressed. And he had another book called The Star That Astonished the World. This was published back in the late 70s. He established that Jesus Christ, the real birth of Christ, was September 11th, 3 BC. So Jesus Christ is a Virgo, not born of a virgin, but he was born of a Virgo, or he was born a Virgo. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the messenger of the gods. Mercury deity archetype represents duality and polarity. So Christ is Mercury. Antichrist is also Mercury. Christ and Antichrist are not the same entity. They are on the opposite ends of the Mercury spectrum. The Joker and Batman are based on Mercury. Joker, Antichrist, Batman, Christ. One of Mercury's characteristics is the trickster. This is the root esoteric underpinning of the Joker. It's the Mercury trickster archetype. 2 weeks ago, the Joker movie was released by the numbers and by the symbols. Last week, I explained how the Joker movie release was synced with the Dallas, Texas sentencing of Amber Geiger a few days earlier for the murder of Botham Jean. Botham sounds like Gotham. The name Botham is literally the same name as bottom, according to etymological research. Bottom is the original name of the Joker movie star, Joaquin Phoenix. He was born Joaquin Bottom. As well as all the principal entities of the trial, Botham, Geyer, Brandt, all lining up with Joker in Gematria. There's a caller last week, he did a pretty brilliant observation. He noted that the lead prosecutor in the case is called Jason Hermes. And the name Hermes, he realized, was actually a ritual homage to Hermes. And he was on the money with that one. Hermes is Mercury, the same archetype. And there's another element to the ritual. That is the star witness, Joshua Brown, who was killed after providing most decisive testimony. He's essentially a martyr and a sacrifice for justice. In effect, he was a Christ-like figure. This is Joshua Brown. And Jesus Christ is part of the Mercury archetype. Jesus Christ is Mercury. Joshua Brown wore a t-shirt emblazoned with the term Dragon Ball Z. In Gematria, Dragon Ball sums to 86 and 41. Mercury sums to 86 and 41. Star Witness sums to 41. His name Joshua, in Hebrew, Jesus is Yeshua. Yeshua translates to Joshua. So Joshua is another name for Jesus. And this fact is confirmed by Gematria. Joshua and cross match in 3 out of 4 base ciphers, 74, 20, and 34. Joshua Brown sums to 47 and 61. Cross sums to 74 and 61. Joshua Brown is a messianic figure. Joshua Brown sums to 151 and 61. Messianic sums to 151 and 61. Interesting that the Dallas Cowboys comes to 151 and also 74. The Dallas Cowboys are actually part of the ritual. I'm about to wrap up, but not to do a full Cowboys Super Bowl decode, but I think the Cowboys are part of this ritual. But the murder sentencing trial in Dallas was followed by the Joker movie release, which was followed by Dallas hosting Green Bay Packers, all in a 6-day period. Also in that same 6-day period, the Phoenix Cardinals owner died, Bill Bidwill. And it's Phoenix Cardinals. Think about Joaquin Phoenix. That's related to the Joker. Joaquin Phoenix's brother, River Phoenix, died on Halloween in 2003. The Dallas Cowboys won the 2 Super Bowls immediately before and after River Phoenix's death on Halloween. And this year, 2019 Halloween, which falls on a Thursday, and who hosts Thursday Night Football this year? Phoenix. Yeah, the Cardinals, they'll host the 49ers. I have a bigger detail on that, but I'm not going to get into the whole Dallas connection. So yeah, let's end it there. So these are just some of the esoteric underpinnings to the events we see in the news and sports and everything else.
Awesome work as always. I look forward to the next installment. Keep up the great work, Rainbow. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate thanks again for sharing your forum. And yeah, have a great show.
Okay. I'm going to contact you here.
All right. Take it easy.
All right. Take care. Okay. So we got about 20 seconds till the commercial break. Before I go to any more callers, we'll wait for the commercial break and then we'll take your calls the rest of the show. We got 2 hours left after the break. Coming up, it'll be Las Vegas, New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York, California, Oregon. Wow, Portland, Oregon. I don't think I've ever had a caller from Portland. That's my home city too. Wisconsin, Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, New York. I hope all of you guys stay on the line. I'd love to hear from all of you. There it is. We'll be right back, everybody.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/sign-up and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection.
Syria talks sour, bomb cyclone. I'm Barbara Cusack. A meeting at the White House on Syria went sour. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said President Trump appeared out of sorts over a bipartisan resolution passed in the House condemning his withdrawal of American forces from northern Syria.
We witnessed on the part of the president was a meltdown. Sad to say.
But House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy characterized the meeting as productive among the Democrats who decided to stay.
Storm out of a meeting, which I've watched time before during other crises, is really not the ability of a speaker or the style how a speaker should carry herself out.
President Trump had referred to Pelosi as a third-rate politician. A high-level U.S. delegation is heading to Turkey in an effort to broker a ceasefire now amid the Turkish incursion into Syria. Vice President Pence and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo are on their way. The correspondent Arwa Damon reports it's going to be a tough sell.
From Turkey's perspective, even offering this is as absurd as if, say, for example, when the U.S. was fighting ISIS, someone had asked America to pause that operation.
The Northeast is in for some heavy rains and high winds, possibly strong enough to produce what's referred to as a bomb cyclone. NOAA forecaster Rich Bond says the strongest gusts from a powerful low pressure system will be felt in big cities like Boston.
Sustained winds 20 to 30 miles an hour, but the wind gusts up to 50, and that would extend all the way back to places into southern and eastern New York as well. So it's going to be a pretty broad swath of these strong winds.
Stocks closed mostly lower on Wall Street as losses for technology and energy companies offset gains in others. General Motors rose on word of a tentative deal to end a month-long strike. The Dow off by 23 points. I'm Barbara Cusack.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
This is not a conditional range. Conditional range. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This crew has been compromised.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. We got 2 hours left, which means I have to stand for at least 2 more hours. I think it's going to be fine. During the commercial break, I was trying to show you guys the mat that was sent to me. The most expensive piece of plastic I've ever stood on. I couldn't believe the price tag on this thing, but it's pretty cool because it's got these different things that you can stand on, and if your feet start to get tired, you can stand on it, kind of like relieves the pressure points. So that's the point of this mat. They're not cheap though. It's $100 for this thing. So again, for people who missed the beginning of the show, a gentleman all the way on the other side of the world. I can't believe how many different gifts he sent me. I'm very generous individual. He sent me this desk that you can raise and lower. It's meant to go on top of another desk, but the desk that I have is an antique desk, and it has like drawers that come out, so you can't set this thing on there. It doesn't fit. So I have it on the end of the guest bed. I'm hanging out in the guest bedroom right now. And anyway, it works on the end of the bed. It would be nice if it was a little bit higher up, but I got the desk he sent me. I got the mat. I got the lamp. He also sent me an English translated Quran. He sent me another thing that's a foot massager that goes under the desk that you sit up, that you put on your feet while you're sitting down at your desk. And then there's 2 chairs coming in the mail right now. I don't know where I'm going to put all this stuff, but anyway, he sent a chair for myself and for my sweet lady that are supposed to keep you in the perfect posture when you're sitting so that your back doesn't hurt as mine often does. So anyway, this episode's dedicated to him. I wanted to show that I'm putting his new tools to work. And I don't think often I'm going to stand for 3 hours at a time and work, but tonight we're going to do it. And who knows, maybe it'll turn into a tradition. So it's the standing episode. I was looking at the comments in the chat. You guys were making me smile there. Even the trolls. I love when the trolls write, Zach's a government agent. It's like, okay, you got to be kidding. Anyway, who's up next? New York City. Let's go out to New York. Actually, hold on. Before I go out to the New York City caller, I think I forgot to finish what I was saying. A few calls back, we had the gentleman point out that they keep emphasizing the not Joe Biden. Yeah, that is his name, Joe Biden. He's a forgettable guy, isn't he, Joe Biden? Joe Biden, he keeps saying, I'll beat him like a drum. And again, just do a web search for Joe Biden drum. You're going to see all the headlines come up. They'll either emphasize, I'll beat him like a drum, or just the words like a drum. And again, like a drum equals 59, like it's the 59th presidential election. But the full emphasized phrase, I'll beat him like a drum, that equals 185, like Donald John Trump, like secret society. Just yesterday, we were talking about how Steve Scalise equals 185, and from the big tribute game to George H.W. Bush to the start of the World Series is 185 days. And so anyway, again, you learn this knowledge, you pay attention to the patterns, you see how certain numbers are used very redundantly. So Joe Biden, Donald Trump, nothing but puppets on strings. And again, for people who don't know, Joe Biden, if you go back and look at how his political career took off after his wife and daughter died in a car accident. And something tells me that wasn't an accident, especially if you run the numbers on it. All right, let's go out to New York City.
Hey, Zach, how's it going?
What's up, Michael?
Hey, I wanted to bring up something about the upcoming World Series. And I know how you're saying, there's with the Astros being in it, and against the Nationals.
Right.
I think I have a narrative for the Yankees as well. I don't know. You want to hear my input about it?
I would love to hear it. There's definitely a narrative for the Yankees. I was on the Yankees from early in the year. We thought the ALCS would be Yankees and Astros, and I thought the Yankees would win it. And I felt that way until we saw this Skull and Bones ritual go down at the end of the year with the Nationals. I was like, now, wait a minute. They've been doing the Skull and Bones with the Astros and Rangers all year. Now a National League team? Uh-oh. What's your thought, Michael?
Yeah. Well, Aaron Boone, right? Aaron Boone, the manager.
Right.
He's they said he was hired in December of 2017. And they're saying he's the 33rd manager in franchise history, in New York 33.
Right.
And his full name is 147.
Oh, 147, like World Series.
His full name. Yes. And where he's from, La Mesa, California, that area code is 619, and 619 is the 114th prime number. And if the Yankees win the World Series, they'll have 114 all-time or 114 wins on this season.
Yeah, very interesting. It's possible. It's definitely possible. That's what my dad would like to see. My dad's a big Yankees fan, so yeah.
Right. Because I was like, oh, because I looked at it, I'm like, 619, I wonder if that's a prime number. And it said it was 114th prime. I'm like, well, if they win the World Series, they'll have 114 wins this season. So I was like, well, maybe, it could happen,
Interesting.
That's where he's from. And
yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much.
All right. I appreciate it, Michael.
What I had there. That's all I had.
Yeah, it's a great observation. It could be.
All right, Zach.
All right. Take care. All right. Have a good night. Okay. Let's see. Las Vegas, you're up.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
You're on.
Oh, hey, it's so cool to finally talk to you.
Very cool.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Okay. I got your book and I've been chipping through it, just trying to read a little bit every night. But one of the things that I wanted to sort of talk about and sort of get from the truth community is a little bit about me. I experience a lot of synchronistic stuff and coincidences. And when I listen to what you're doing with the gematria, and I watch your channel every day, There's the organic side, which is a lot of the stuff that happens to people like me. It happens a lot. And then there's this purposeful, manipulative side where people are purposely trying to make these things seem like they're just natural. They're not natural coincidences. A lot of the stuff you're decoding is people that are purposely manipulating these numbers and occurrences to sync up. And it just makes me wonder, which before I discovered gematria and all of that, when the syncs and the coincidences would happen, I would always wonder, well, what does it mean? And it makes me wonder, the people that are doing these fake syncs, it makes me wonder, well, what is the purpose for them doing these fake syncs, and what is the purpose of the natural syncs and coincidences that happen to people? And one of the answers that I came up with is it seems like there's a purposeful manipulation of energies of the masses. You know, it just seems like they're trying to solicit some sort of reaction from the masses. That's why we'll get the mass shootings, and then people are releasing a certain energy, you know, when a mass shooting occurs. Or like, I'm a Black woman, so like when I see stories about how a cop killed a Black person unjustly and then they get away, and then they don't get, you know, convicted of anything. It's like the powers that shouldn't be, as you call them, they're trying to purposely manipulate a release of some sort of energy from the masses or something. Do you understand what I'm saying?
1,000%.
They're manipulating us.
1,000%. Again, I agree 1,000%. I think it's all about manipulating the energy of the people and keeping us in a certain state that makes us more easily controlled and divided and working against the wrong things. Just using the most simple cipher, the alphabetic order. Energy equals 74. So does English. So does gematria. And definitely not an accident. So I think that's what it's all about. Everything you said, I'm in perfect agreement with. So, yeah, I think you're right on.
Yeah, because I can't help but wonder, like what's the bigger picture of why, like everything is energy. You know, we're energy, our thoughts are energy, our feelings is energy. You know, everything that exists is emitting some sort of energy. And it's like, you know, I sort of trying to dive deeper into what the manipulation and the purpose of manipulating our energy, what does it mean on a higher spiritual level? Like, is there, it can't be about money, because these people have so much money, they can have whatever they want. I mean, it's much bigger than money, and, you know, but I just wanted to sort of share that with, when people are reading your book, when people are really researching these things, you know, what I want people to really think about is, what is the bigger meaning behind why these energies are being manipulated? What's the higher purpose, or what is the real battle that is going on? And how can we understand it so we can, you know, fight it a little bit more than what we're doing, because most people are asleep. Right. So in order for us to fight something, you have to understand what it is you're fighting. And in order for us to understand what it is we're fighting, we have to understand why the organic syncs and coincidences happen. And that would give us a further understanding of why these fake syncs and sacrifices and things like that is happening. Anyway, that's all I want to say. I love you. I'm glad you do your work. I support it 100%. And I'm going to keep reading your book every night until I finish it.
How do you like it so far?
I like it. As I'm reading it, like sometimes I'll just put it down and just think about some things because, of course, as I'm reading it, I'm processing it, and then I'm sort of getting more questions as I'm reading it.
Sure.
So, like, different things that's coming into my mind. Like, that's what I'm saying about when I'm reading your book, I'm like, well, why are these people doing this? And then I started to say, well, when you talk about how they make sacrifices, and I started going into researching, well, what caused human beings to start making human and animal sacrifices? And was it for the purpose of doing what? Well, it was the purpose for them gaining something or getting something. So that's sort of like, as I'm reading your book, it's sort of like you can't just read through your book, boom, boom, boom. Like as you're reading through the book, you're going to get more questions as you're processing things. And then you have to sort of understand, well, why are they doing this? And what is the next step? Another thing I want to say while I'm on here real quick, and then I'm going to get off. Speaking of sacrifice, and I don't want to offend anybody, but as I was doing my research about human sacrifice and for the purpose of people doing human sacrifice and animal sacrifice for the purpose of gaining something, I grew up as a Catholic. And I think that Christianity is the biggest trick, if you will, for lack of a better word, on the human society, because they have people believing that God would want his own son murdered in order for you to have some sort of gain. And that is what people would do human sacrifices for. If I murder this person, then I'm going to have wealth, or I'm going to get something, that I'm looking, some sort of reward is going to come to me if this person is sacrificed. And in the ancient times, there would be mass sacrifices all the time. So Christianity has people believing that God would want his only son to be murdered in order for you to have some everlasting gain. And so it's like there's so many things that's put out here to steer humanity in the wrong direction from us achieving our true spiritual enlightenment, because we're so bogged down with so much misdirection and misinformation. So people have to really seek the truth for themselves. And really, one of the things I always was taught is never just take what you see, hear, or read at face value. You have to think about it and process it and see what is the real meaning behind everything. You can't just take things for face value. But anyway, I'm so glad I had the chance to talk to you. I'm going to keep reading your book, and I encourage everybody that's listening to buy the book and just keep reading it a little bit at a time and get through it. Thanks, Zach.
All right. Thank you. You have a good night. Really appreciate your call.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Okay. So again, in the first chapter of the book, I try to establish the point that the people who use this knowledge, the cabal, the powers that shouldn't be, this code of letters and numbers comes from Kabbalah, and the belief is that God operates through this code of letters, numbers, words. This is the way God created the world. It's why in Genesis, God speaks the world into existence in numbered days. And again, to me, the end game for the powers that shouldn't be is control, and to remain in control, and to use humanity for their purpose. And if you think about it, the controllers of this world, do they work? I mean, no, they're the investor class, right? They sit back and they live off the work of others. So the game is to keep humanity in the box they've built for us. Culture is the box. And what keeps us within the framework of culture is all the societal programming, from, the school system, which is really an indoctrination system, to the government, to the churches, to the news media. And these things are all controlled by the tyrants and powers that shouldn't be. So, and again, the woman's right. It's all about energy. And they don't want us to keep us. They don't want to have humanity in an inspired state, an empowered state, a knowledgeable state. They want us confused and worn out and depressed and shocked and angered and outraged, which is, you know, what the mainstream gives us every single day, stuff to get worked up about. And, you know, whenever the mainstream gives us something that seems like it's beneficial information, 2 weeks later, you turn on the news, it's like, wait a minute, what you told me 2 weeks ago is not true anymore? That's the confusion. So, you know, people always say, what's the end game? I mean, this is it. We're living in it. This is the end game. We're trapped inside a box controlled by terrible people. And for us, I mean, my end game is to help humanity get out of the box. So, I mean, that's just, isn't that the dynamic of humanity? You get a group of people, and what happens within that group of people? It doesn't matter if it's a group of 8 people or 30 people or 50 people or 100 people. Essentially, what always happens in that group is there's somebody who tries to become the leader of the group, in charge of the group, boss the group around, right? That's the human dynamic. So not everyone's that way. It's like why within a group of 100 people, some of those people, they aren't trying to be the leader. They're just trying to go about their day. But there's certain types of people, they want to be in control. And the unfortunate reality is the people who control this world, they're the absolute worst. You know, they're the most ruthless and unethical. And seemingly, those people, they have a holy text as well that tells them that they're the chosen people and everybody else is too dumb to even be considered to be a human being. And, you know, they have a name in the Bible. It's the synagogue of Satan. So, and I also want to comment on what she said about Christianity, because I completely agree with her. As a child, I was raised Lutheran, but I had experience with the Catholic Church too. My parents worked all day, so they used to drop me off at a Catholic private school where it was free tuition. And the reason my parents sent me there is because they had all daycare. They could drop me off early in the morning and pick me up, you know, late in the evening. So I was probably at school 11 hours a day, you know, Monday through Friday. And we had to spend a lot of time in the church, and we had to do the same thing in the Catholic Church and the Lutheran Church. You know, you take the bread and you say, this is the body of Christ shed for you. And then you eat the bread. And then, you know, when you're a kid, you get the grape juice instead of the wine. This is the blood of Christ shed for you, and you drink the juice. And I forget what age I was. It's probably like 7 or 8 when I started to realize that it was kind of creepy. I was like, wait a minute. So I'm eating a person, I'm drinking their blood. This doesn't seem right. And I think that woman's right on. I mean, this is the way the evil cabal operates, murdering people. And all throughout history, sacrifice has been made for what reasons? To appease their God or to bring about more power and fortune for themselves. I think it's the same things that are going on today. And does sacrificing another person bring about more fortune for you? I could never speak from experience, and I never will be able to, because I would never want to do that even if it did. But at the end of the day, it's belief system and it's tradition and it's culture. And I agree. I've thought the same thing. Christianity kind of introduces that. And if you talk to a lot of Muslims, they'll say, you know, the thing that doesn't make any sense to me about Christianity is why would God sacrifice his son to make something good for humanity? Why would that God who can do whatever God wants would choose it to be that way? That doesn't make sense to me. And I agree. I mean, it doesn't make sense. The only reason people go along with it is because of the word believe, the word with Y right in the middle. Think about it. Why would that be God's plan? God's going to sacrifice his son so that everybody else can be forgiven for their sins. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. That's something that you are told to believe. And again, it's not an accident that the word lie is right in the middle of that word. Believe equals 33, just like Bible, you know, just like Sunday, just like the age Christ was supposedly crucified at. And what's troublesome is, you know, you make a point like that and people just get so offended. Oh my God, you disagree with me. And I mean, that's what has to change about humanity too, is just all the believing and expecting everyone to believe the same as you. For anyone out there who might be listening and who might be offended by questioning, you know, the story of God sacrificing his son for the betterment of humanity, I mean, really, you should think about that story and ask yourself, yeah, how does that story make any sense? You know, because it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. And eating somebody's body and drinking their blood, that doesn't make sense either. I'll remind you that the word Christian sums to 47 like beast, you know, number of the beast. We just saw the death of a pop star this week. Pop equals 47. She died 666 days from the last Korean pop star to die prematurely. And those two had sung a song together. They died 666 days apart. Pop 47 like beast, you know. So you can do it with English too, or with other musical terminology. Rock equals 47. Rock star, if you use the cipher where you multiply the alphabetic order times 6, rock star is 666. Anyway, there's been a lot of musicians who've gone out by the Beast Code, if you will, over the years. Let's go out to New York. We got 2 minutes till the break. How are you, New York?
Good evening, Zach. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. I noticed that Letters and Numbers is on sale at Amazon.
Yeah, somebody
This
has.
has probably been
I put in a request with Amazon to investigate that and let them know that somebody stole my work and is selling it. So I'm still waiting to hear back on that.
Okay, so somebody else put it up. It wasn't you.
No, it's not me, and they added additional content, so I don't know what else is in there. But yeah, somebody. I guarantee it's the same people who troll and harass me every single day. So, yeah.
I'm just surprised that they could get through the process and actually get it up without you knowing it. That's surprising.
Well, what's funny is it took me 3 months to find out because they posted it on June 25th, and I just found out about it about a week ago. So.
Yeah, and so did I. I was on Amazon and I happened to see it, and I was like shocked.
Yeah. So. I'm waiting to hear
I
back.
also wanted to, okay. I needed some clarity on that. That was a little confusing for me to see that, you know?
Sure.
Even though it was understandable, it still was confusing to me. Okay, I noticed a couple of, not that it means anything.
Actually,
but I noticed
caller, pause right there because the commercial's starting. I'll take you right when we come back. We'll be right back, everybody.
Has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
So you love talk radio, then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have hard water, the Live Scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate Live Scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back. True Seeker. I forgot to mute the music there for a second. Probably get a copyright thing later, whatever. So I was checking out the chat over the break, and somebody was saying, if it wasn't for my, Christian community, I would have never made it through the ailment I was suffering from. And I totally get that. I mean, there's power in community. Community is super important. And it's probably the reason that so many people go to religion, honestly, because it's hard to find community in anything outside of religion. There's other things. There's community. There's other things, but, church, temple, synagogue, all that. That's probably one of the biggest networks of community there is in the present time. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a Christian or any religion. It's just ultimately the problem with religion is that it keeps people divided as well as bringing them together. And the divisive part is a big problem. And it also keeps a lot of people from thinking or questioning, which is another huge problem. I'd say that might be the biggest problem with humanity, a lack of thinking and questioning, and religion definitely breeds that. I was literally kicked out of confirmation class as a young person for asking too many questions. And my questions were all very fair, such as, how can a man live inside a fish? So anyway, let's go back out to the caller in New York. She was interrupted by the break, and we'll be taking calls the rest of the way. So back out to New York. New York?
Thanks, Ben.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I was going to also bring up the point that the other day I saw on Joe Rogan, who I personally believe is a shill. He was talking about gematria. I don't know if you caught the show, but he was speaking with Roseanne Barr, who definitely is a Freemason. You can look at her symbolism all over her. But anyway, she was talking about gematria in regards to the Christian community that supposedly are really into the QAnon Q. And she was saying how Q equals 17, which is 8, and then you reduce it down to 2. She reduced it to 2, and then she reduced it to 1. And she was saying that the Christian community basically don't realize that they're learning gematria, and that Q is the one that's teaching them gematria. And I was thinking, someone okayed her to basically talk about gematria. I don't think she just was getting into that conversation. And I'm beginning to think that maybe that the New World Order wants people to learn about faith Freemasonry, and maybe that is part of the New World Order religion, along with the Tamad, which we talked about, the Naudahad laws, that they are slowly but surely introducing gematria to the masses. And I'm beginning to think some of the people on the various platforms are paid to bring gematria into the consciousness of the masses. I'm not saying that's you, but I'm saying other people, possibilities. And I wanted to know what you thought about that. And then I have one more thing after that.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. That's kind of like the Illuminati thing, that they want to slowly bring humanity into their beliefs and practices. And my thing about Q is it takes this knowledge and it puts it out there, but it does it in a poor way and in a misleading way. And I did see that little clip of her on Joe Rogan, and I thought that was interesting how she said 8 breaks down to 2. And I was like, I've never heard that before in any numerology teaching anywhere. But what it made me think of is how 8 is essentially 2 circles. And when you learn about sacred geometry, 2 comes from 1. The 1 circle expands into 2. So she had to be going somewhere in that direction with that thought. It was kind of like it was a really short conversation. It wasn't like a big conversation. I don't think they used the word gematria when they were talking about it, though. But they did talk about how Q17 and all that. And I know about 2 years ago, Joe Rogan actually did use the word gematria on his show. He talked about it just briefly. So, yeah, it's a thought.
Yeah. And I also am catching a couple of things in regards to the World Series 115. I caught on the Tribune, it said Trump donors coming out of the woodwork in blue states, plural. And coming out of the woodwork is 115. And I thought it was interesting that it said in blue states, as in plural. And if the Yankees, they're known for their blue pinstripes, sure, and the Nationals wear blue. So I'm still thinking there's a riddle there maybe with the Yankees, because to me, they've already honored Bush with Houston winning in 17. So I don't know why they would be honoring, Bush dying in Houston again in this year, because they've sort of already done that a year before he died. So I still think there's a riddle there with the Yankees. And then when I was going past that, I said, well, let me just put in coming out of the woodwork. And I saw another article. It's the honesty from the Washington National fan is something we should all strive for. And in that article, it talked about, let me just get it up again. It talked about that the national fans are coming out of the woodwork. There's the woodwork again. Yeah. And so there was a Twitter, and the guy said, how long have you been a Nat fan for? Which equals 118. And 118 also equals Frederick Christ Trump. And among other things. And the guy's answer was, since today. And since today equals 115. And Donald Trump equals 69 comes out to 118. And 69 we know is Saturn. And if you look at Bush, when he reads about 9/11 at the anniversaries, he read Psalms 23. And then Obama, a couple years later, read Psalms 46. And so I'm waiting for Trump to read Psalm 69. I'm just waiting for it. Because 23 and 23 equals 46. Right. And 23 and 46 equals 69. So there's something there too. But anyway, I've seen a lot of 115 around Trump and 118, which ties back to Trump. So that's just something I thought.
Yeah, they're great
and
thoughts.
The blue states, we think about.
They're great thoughts.
The blue states made me think about the 2 blue teams,
Sure, and you could be right on. Something interesting about the Astros season in light of the Bush family is it's their 58th season. And again, Bush equals 58. George W. Bush equals 58. He supposedly won his election with 271 electoral votes, the 58th prime. So, and it could be something about Freemasonry has a lot to do with life and death. So they got to celebrate Bush while he was alive. This could be about celebrating now that he's gone. But the Yankees very much have a narrative too, so I won't be shocked either way. personally, I'm relieved that the Nationals made it to the World Series because there's just to put a story out there, there's a gentleman who follows me who bets a lot. I mean, he's done really well, but he had a ton of money riding on the Yankees, and he started to freak out when he heard me say that it could be the Astros instead of the Yankees. So I told him, I said, well, what I would do is I said I'd put down a parlay for Astros and Nationals World Series. I told him this just before the postseason began. And I said, I just do the math so that if Astros Nationals hit, you'll come out ahead of your Yankees losses, and then vice versa. If it doesn't hit, you'll still come out ahead with your Yankees winning. So anyway, he's sitting pretty, and so are a lot of people who follow me. I gave everybody that advice. But so anyway, I'm in the clear right now for the advice I gave out for the year. So either way, my people are going to win, but it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. So I appreciate the thoughts. Great thoughts, New York. Thank you.
You're welcome. I just have one more question.
Please.
And also, to watch the Nationals, they do 115. I'm on Patreon, and I haven't been listening into the sports decode and stuff. Is that at 1 o'clock Eastern time?
Well,
is that daily at 1 o'clock?
For the MLB season, we were starting at 9 a.m. Western, noon Eastern, but now it's more of a floating time. It's starting it's starting in recent days. It's probably going to start closer to 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Eastern time. Now that the games start later in the day, we did it early during the baseball season because baseball games start early. But now that most games start about 7 Eastern time, I'm getting out the information 2-3 hours before the game. So 2 to 3 p.m. your time is when I would look for it.
Okay, and are you posting daily, like I'm starting at this time, or do you just sort of gravitate to Patreon and that's where you are?
Well, it depends on the day. What I've been doing is posting all the notes for the sports games as I decode in the morning, and then once I finish, I've been starting the live stream, and I'll probably get it down to a fixed time so people know exactly when to expect it, and that probably will be 3 p.m. Eastern time. So probably the time we roll with.
Okay, because I've just been reading your notes, and I really would like to be part of it.
Okay, you got it. All right. Look forward to your next call. You have a good night.
Have a nice night, Zach.
All right, take care. All right, so 2 New York callers really filling the Yankees. And a part of me wonders if they're Yankee fans too. But my dad's a big Yankee fan, and it's his favorite thing in the world, baseball. He's starting to realize how gimmicky it is, but it would make his day if the Yankees were in the World Series. Let's go out to Philadelphia. If I can get him on the line. Let's try that again. All right, Philadelphia, you're on.
All right. A few callers ago, they're speaking about, you both were speaking about religion, Christianity, and sacrificing. I also thought that was weird that you would eat, the body of Christ and drink the blood of Christ. But there's also, there's certain things, certain parts in the Bible where they're speaking on sacrificing their own children.
Sure.
So, there's a lot of sacrifice in the Bible, which is very weird and ritualistic. And then there's a show called Succession, where at the end of the show, they were speaking about a blood sacrifice for the next show. So that was kind of, I was trying to get the whole, I need to go back and watch it from the very beginning of the actual series and then see where it goes, but yeah, it's starting to get into that whole sacrifice people situation. But anyway, I held up on my some of my Eagles decode. I hope people that they actually go out and try to decode certain teams in their city. But come to find out, the Eagles probably already knew this, but the Eagles were the Yellow Jackets. And then it changed ownership. So the ownership named the Eagles after the Blue Eagle of the National Recovery Act. So I looked up National Recovery Act, and in English ordinal, it comes to 221. In full reduction, it comes to 86. Reverse ordinal 292, and reverse full reduction 112. National comes to 86, recovery comes to 111, and act comes to 24. And that comes to 221. Then also, I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
National Recovery Administration comes to 363, full reduction 147, reverse ordinal 447, and reverse full reduction 186. So administration comes to 166. So now that makes me, I was trying to figure out, okay, how does that connect to Philadelphia? So I'm still in the works on that. Like what I was looking up things like, does it have a Philly connection to the creation of it? So I'm still looking around and I'm still, searching some things. But I noticed last week on the football show that comes on in the morning on the NFL Network, they had a Eagles buy section of their show. But I missed that because I had to run out. So somehow or another, I think that has something to do with trade or something like that. So who knows if it connects to this National Recovery Act or administration and so on and so forth. But I found the timeline, so I'm going over the timeline of the Philadelphia Eagles and so on and so forth. But this gets me how they lose Sunday, they drop to 3-3, and then the Dallas Cowboys drop to 3-3 after their loss by the New York Jets. So that made me think about, okay, Dallas is supposed to be America's team, and then Philadelphia also has the symbol of America. So is that the whole rivalry? That's how the whole rivalry thing comes up with them, even though Buddy Ryan was supposed to be the one that made a big thing about this rivalry. But I just found it how convenient they both dropped to 3-3 and they face each other this Sunday.
Right. Yeah. Perfect. Well, keep up that research. I'm interested to see what you dig up out of that. I'm sure there is something a lot more meaningful there. So I'm sure on the next call you'll have more pinned down about it. But yeah, that's some good research. So.
Oh yeah, it was started in 1933 during Roosevelt's presidency.
Right.
Yeah. So there's some things that I'm still looking at. It's kind of tough, but I'm going to get through this.
Sure. If you want to wake your Philadelphia people up to the last Eagles game against the Vikings, Minnesota won with 38 points. Of course, Minnesota equals 38. Cousins got his 38th career win in that game, and the Eagles fell to 3-8 in Minnesota. That was one of the more clear riddles of the week, I thought, in the NFL, that the Vikings would win. It would be all about 38. I didn't know they were going to win with 38 points, but if you go and look at the week prior, they beat the Giants 28-10, so 38 combined points. Minnesota equals 38, so does Giants. But that's one of those numbers that hangs around Minnesota a lot, 38. So keep up the good work, man. I look forward to the next call.
One more thing. That score combined to 58 points.
Yep.
And also, did you get anything about why they released Zach Brown? Not only because he taunted Kirk Cousins, but do you see any connection with that? It's just weird how that happens. So a player all of a sudden he gets cut because he taunts somebody. And the Ramsey thing, I don't know if you covered that at the beginning of the show, but I just laughed when I saw that Jalen Ramsey was traded to the Rams. So Rams and Ramsey, and then after that, he's supposed to have tweeted out a picture of himself and had Ramsey under the Rams logo.
Right, it's a joke, right? Rams equals 15, traded on the 15th. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Rams equals 30. You got traded 30 days after making the trade demand. Yeah, Rams and Ramsey. I mean, it's just in your face. Yeah, Zach Brown thing I didn't even know about, so I'd have to look into that.
And the Senate bill, you probably didn't get a chance to look at, but the Senate bill 168.
I still got to do the research on that. I just typed in Zach Brown's name. I see he wears the jersey number 52. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Minnesota's 52, like they hosted Super Bowl 52, which the Eagles won in Minnesota. So I'm sure there's something going on with the Super Bowl and the release of Zach Brown. So that's got to be it. I see his jersey number is 52.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
All right, man. You know, I'm on this. And actually, I'm going to do all of the teams in the city.
Okay. Yeah, do it, man. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Appreciate it. You have a good night.
You too, man. Thanks.
All right. Take care. That the guy who does the commercial over the break about the free men who established the nation and buy my book, Charm of Favor. I know that I get the feeling he's a Freemason himself. I know he's a big Minnesota Vikings fan. He still cheers for the NFL. It's kind of sad. So how much can you really know about this world if you don't know that football's rigged? You know what I mean? By the way, Brooks, you're always welcome to come on the show and explain yourself. Anyway, let's go out to New Jersey. Let's see. I don't think that worked. Oh, there we go. New Jersey, you're on.
Hey, Zach, how you doing? First time calling.
Thanks for calling. Doing well, thank you.
Oh. Yeah, cool, man. So, couple of things. I mean, I'm only on page 100 of your book. But I watch a lot of yours and Derek DeCurry's videos.
Right.
And I just realized that I have to go all over all the information I learned previously and then add the gematria to it to get the deeper understanding of it. So that's kind of lame. Because, you know, like all these people talking about these rituals on YouTube and stuff, all this independent research, they don't include the gematria, and then if they do, it's almost like disinformation, how bad it is compared to your stuff.
Sure. Yeah. To me, that's the beauty of this knowledge. I was just gonna say, to me, that's the beauty of this knowledge. It's more than opinion. It's evidence, and it's consistent patterns, and you can back it up. So I thought the truth community would love this information when I first started, but then over time I realized that this isn't really a truth community. This is more of a T-shirt sales community, and that's why you see almost all these supposed YouTube channels. The veterans that are still around, they don't talk about the things that they used to talk about because they know they'll get their channels taken down. So it's like, if you're going to speak truth, you can't be a coward. You can't be worried about getting censored, you know, and that's mostly what this community is. But you got the floor again, friend. Sorry.
Well, you know what? The website 4chan, the site that obsesses about repeating digits that land in their posts.
Right.
You should probably do a couple Ask Me Anythings on there and just, you know, keep on doing it till you get a couple of hooks because, you know, basically they love to talk shit to people. So, you know,
sure,
they maybe do it, but also there's, you know, there's people like looking for the truth, right? And, you know, obviously they deny some of these deeper occult aspects. So I would suggest to you to maybe try making videos about, you know, people like Mark Devlin, Mark Dice, Jordan Sather, like the Q community people. And, you know, just like basically make a video with their names in the title and just talk to them about that. Because, you know, High Impact Flicks, he exposes the media, their behavior, and then the way that they get you to go with their agenda. But he doesn't talk about gematria, which would be way like more important to talk about, at least mention. Like,
right.
So
Well,
like, you should
I don't put these channels. I hear what you're saying about make videos and address them. It is a thought. I could try doing that. I've reached out to High Impact Flicks, and he doesn't respond to me. And I've noticed he sticks up for some of the Shield channels. So
Yeah.
I think he's part of that network. His content's all right, though. I'm not mad at that channel, but a lot of these guys are in partnerships and advertising partnerships, and they're really just a tight network and kind of like an exclusive club. So.
Well, I realize, a lot of these guys that I'm naming, they're making a lot of money because of the view stuff. Like, they talk about demonetization, but I watch videos with ads on them all the time.
Right.
Also, I just wanted to mention, just using this new knowledge of gematria, I was thinking about, what about the 47th president of the United States for there to be a full-blown New World Order where they're basically practicing pedophilia openly, not being resisted?
I honestly wonder the same thing. What's going to happen with the 47th president? You know that there's going to be something big with that, just no doubt about it. So, and we're coming up on it.
And imagine they got to the 47th president tumultuous, as in like 2 presidents in the span of a year. Like, imagine Donald Trump dies. In the Simpsons episode where they show Donald Trump in the coffin, his fingers make an S. Reminds me of Jared Kushner.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of the S connection and stuff. All right. And yeah, man. So have you ever heard about Chainlink, the cryptocurrency?
I've heard about it.
Yeah, the smart contracts. Have you investigated like that type of blockchain? Like protocols, basically smart contracts to where, you both put the money up onto this algorithm, and then once both ends are met, they distribute it via the exchange.
Sure. It's interesting. I haven't done enough research on it, but to me, I just don't like the idea of electronic currency because that's where the world elite's moving, and it just fits in with the surveillance state.
Well, you should look into Chainlink because they have the hypercube as their symbolism. They're partnering with Swift. Doesn't Swift have something to do with 19? I don't know. They're the people that process all the digital payments that go over the internet.
Hold on, pause right there because the music's starting. We'll be right back, everybody. Sit tight.
Fear. We're proud to feature cutting-edge programs like The Fearless with Frank Castle, Strange World with Mark Sargent, The Eye of Ra with Rob Castaldo, The Infinite Bridge with Billy Ray, Ironworks with Josh Corey, The Kev Baker Show, and dozens more. Did you know you can listen from any telephone by dialing 641-793-7117 or call into your favorite show toll free at 833 TFR Live. Uncensored talking news you won't hear in the mainstream media. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Serious strategy, striking teachers. I'm Barbara Cusack. President Trump warned Turkish President Erdogan in an October 9th letter about his country's incursion into Syria, saying, "Don't be a tough guy, don't be a fool." Former Army Lieutenant Colonel Senator Tammy Duckworth worries about the White House strategy.
Now he's sending Mr. Pompeo, who's our, Secretary of State, but a guy with no actual success rate in international negotiations, and Vice President Pence, a man with no foreign policy experience, to go meet with Erdogan, a man who actually rolled out president over a phone call. There's no strategy here.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell briefed Republican senators today, telling them to be ready for an impeachment trial of President Trump as soon as Thanksgiving. McConnell said during that time, the Senate would likely meet 6 days a week. Classes are canceled tomorrow at Chicago Public Schools as teachers said they are going on strike. Mayor Lori Lightfoot was disappointed by the decision.
Our commitment is to do everything we can to keep this work stoppage as short as possible and ensure our students are back in school as soon as possible.
A jury in Wisconsin came to terms on an award to the father of a boy killed in the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting after he filed a defamation lawsuit against conspiracy theorist writers who claimed the massacre never happened. Details from correspondent Steve Kastenbaum.
The jury at Dane County Court in Wisconsin ordered James Fetzer to pay Lenny Posner $450,000. Fetzer, who co-authored a book, Nobody Died at Sandy Hook, made false claims that Posner's son Noah didn't die in the shooting, that it was all staged, and Posner faked his grief along with Noah's death certificate. For years, Posner was harassed by people like Fetzer.
Some 337 people in 24 states and 11 countries have been named in an indictment for operating or using a dark web child exploitation site. I'm Barbara Cusack.
You're protected from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question 3.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. There's a lot of people on hold. Real quick, I'm going to read off the list. I'm going to let New Jersey finish his thought. Then we're going out to Alabama, New York, Milwaukee, Virginia, Washington, Wichita. I think my Portland caller hung up. That's too bad. I wanted to talk to Portland. Georgia, Michigan, Florida. My eyes are getting bad. Nevada, Toronto. Oh, and there's Portland again. Portland, I'm gonna let you cut because you must have lost your place somehow, but you were definitely up further on that list. Okay, let's go out to New Jersey. And New Jersey, since you've already had the floor for a little bit, if you can just finish your thought in a minute or less, that would be awesome. All right, New Jersey, you're back.
All right, a couple things. State of Anarchy, Pat Leach left, Carmen Caranges and the other guy are doing it now. Carmen wants to talk to you. He'll do a live stream with you guys to hash things over. I thought you might like that. The number 15, if you write it down on a piece of paper and then you write 88 underneath it, and if you add up the columns, it equals 9/11. The chain link thing, there's a lot of symbolism. And in order for you to get a quick rundown of it, you should go to this YouTube channel called Link Anon, A-N-O-N. And it just has all the partnerships, all the connections in a very speedy pace. And, the reason why I wanted you to make a video with these other YouTuber names in them is because some people, when they're searching for information on YouTuber, they'll just enter their name and then hit relevance, the YouTube search function where you can see the newest content with the keywords in it.
Right.
So, you can just basically explain. And maybe I suggest go over chapter 5 on a live stream one time, do it up nice. And maybe that would help these people like No More News and High Attack Flicks see that this numerology stuff is basically from the most ancient, reputable sources like Pythagoras and people like that.
Sure. Yeah, it's a good thought.
Francis Bacon.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And you take care, friend. Have a good night.
Welcome.
Okay, let's go out to Alabama. Alabama? Maybe just listening?
Hey, Zach.
Oh, I hear you. What was that?
1 sec. I work in the warehouse, man. I'm gonna take a quick detour to the red zone where I can get to where I can talk. Just 1 second.
Okay. Do you want me to come back to you, or is it just a second?
1 second, bro.
Okay, he's moving. All right, he's on the job.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Hey, man. I'm calling from Birmingham, Alabama, man. I had to take a quick restroom break just get on the phone. It's like my second time calling in. I know I'm rambling. I live in Birmingham. If there's any way you can just off the cuff and take a look into something that's been going on in my local area, it's the Amber Alert for a kid named Camille Cupcake McKinney. She got abducted in Avondale Projects, urban community or whatever. Just if you could just take a look into if you could just do some research if you could and just put it to the people or whatever. It's something that I wanted to look into, but I didn't have the time. But other than that, that's all I really had. Y'all have a good one. I appreciate you letting me out.
Yeah, no problem. I will do it. I got it up here on my screen. Camille McKinney, man, she's got bad name gematria, 6786, just like blood sacrifice. And yeah, I'll look more into that. Yeah, I just see the name right away. That's
do that, man. And if you can, just put it out at a later time. I'll check it out, man. I'm gonna get back to the job, man. I work at the post office, so I know they miss me out here.
okay. All right, I appreciate the call. All right, I will look into it. I'll do a blog post and a video for you. All right, you take care. Have a good night. Yeah, just right away though. Just plugged in her name, 6786, same ciphers as blood sacrifice. It's not good. New York City.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Zach? I got a couple points I want to get to. I want to get to them quick. The first point is, I know that everybody's complaining about the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay game, but don't you know that Detroit has been cursed, been getting the worst calls since Kennedy got assassinated, because they had the game after he got assassinated.
Right, they're one of those.
So Detroit got a hit.
Yeah. They got a history of getting punked by the refs. I mean, that's what Detroit's known for. So, and I mean, you just think about it. That whole city gets the brunt end of the stick. So it's bigger than football.
And when it comes back to the Kennedy got assassinated, they play because the NFL said so they play the game, and they play the game anyway. I think Army Navy played after Kennedy died too. Okay, let me get to my next point. I just had to bring that up about Detroit because I hear everybody crying about Detroit got cheated. Detroit been getting cheated the last 5 or 6 decades, so that don't mean nothing. Okay, my next point: LeBron James. What do you think about LeBron James and his Hong Kong thing?
I haven't done any research on it, but I'm sure it's part of the narrative for this rigged 74th NBA season. Remember, this is the season of Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson equals 74, 74th season. The Zion sweepstakes was on Israel's birthday, the Zionist nation. I'm sure all these things are somehow synced up. I got to put in the work, though. I haven't done that yet.
I just thought about, we've been talking about Zion all last year, and we did not think about this with the 7th NBA season coming up this season. I don't know how we overlooked that.
I've been talking about it. No, I know. I've been saying that, man, because I've been saying Zion Williamson 74, Jewish 74, who runs the NBA, the sweepstakes on Israel. So
I know, but we didn't know this was the 74th season coming up. This would be his first year in the NBA, the 74th season. That's what I'm talking about with the 74. And what's crazy about LeBron's comments, he said that financially, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So the first thing that came out of his mouth about what was wrong was the finance. Because they say he had something to do with Nike and Beats by Dre. And he said that he wasn't able to do it because of this controversy, whatever. But basically, LeBron's showing you what he is. He's a fraud. All this social justice, like the Trayvon Martin, I can't breathe. You know, when Tamir Rice happened, that was right in his backyard. Right. But he didn't say nothing about Tamir Rice.
Right. Yeah.
So LeBron is really just showing his colors. You know what I'm saying? And another thing I want to say about the Lakers. If the Lakers go win the championship, they at least got to win 50 games. Because if you look in the history of the NBA champions, The least amount of wins, I think, was the Houston Rockets in 48 and another team like 45 or something. You got to go back to the Washington Bullets in 79. And the Lakers win total for this year is 50 and a half. So I'm thinking if the Lakers got a chance for the championship, they at least got to win at least over 50 games, right, Zach?
I'm going to throw a number out there. 58 games. Los Angeles Lakers equals 58. So does Kobe Bryant. But the reason I say 58 is because LeBron's turning 35 this year. King James equals 35, and King James died at age 58. So I like 58 games for the Lakers.
Let me get my last point. I didn't get to see your video on it about WeWork, because before I saw your post on WeWork, I saw another YouTube person. He's not into gematria, but he's just into finance. And I didn't click on his video, but his video was about do not invest in WeWork. And then I saw your post about WeWork. They practice Kabbalah, something like that.
I saw that. I saw that.
WeWork.
Yeah, that was in the Wall Street Journal today. I got to look into it more.
So you got to look more into it?
Yeah, I don't know enough about it, but I saw that story in the Wall Street Journal.
So what do the company do? They practice Kabbalah openly in a company or something?
Right. They practice Kabbalah with business sense. There was a Wall Street Journal article about this company today, so I don't know a lot about it.
Okay, that's it. I'll look for that post on that WeWorks when you get some more information on that. I think that's interesting that they come out openly to say that they use Kabbalah in the company. I think that's interesting.
Right. Yeah, it is interesting. All right. Appreciate it, friend. Take care.
All right. That's exact.
All right. Have a good night.
All right.
Okay. So I'm gonna let Portland cut. Oh, they hung up again. Never mind. I was gonna let you cut, but you hung up. All right. Let's go out to Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Zachary?
Yes.
Ohio gozaimasu, Zachary Kuhn. Hey, Zachary, I'm the one guy who, I'm sorry, I'm very nervous. This is my first time calling you. I'm the guy that told you about the book in Amazon.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. As a reward, I will love $100 million, cocaine, prostitute, and cash live on your basement. But that's okay. You don't have to give it to me. Anyway, Zachary, so what you talk about, the English language. The English language has changed over time. And we were talking about the modern day English language and the old English language. They're completely different language. The modern day English language has full of traps, such as belief,
right?
Basement, base of mind, lower mind, apartment. So we have to watch out what certain words we use, because the black magicians usually create these words to make us a mental slave. So it would be great if the people of the United States were to go back to their own languages or learn new languages or make up their own languages. But since people here are mentally lazy, they don't really care. They don't really care about the truth. They're lovers of lies. If you were to tell them about the truth, all this stuff, they will look at you crazy. But they never thought one bit, what if this guy saying is true? What does it cost me of just searching it up, searching all this stuff up?
Right,
So,
I hear what you're
also,
saying.
Religion. So religion, okay. A lot of people confuse religions to cults. No, they're completely different. Let's say about Christianity. We were talking about Christianity, right? So people like to blame Christianity for atrocities such as murder, terrorism, all this stuff. No, those weren't Christians. Those were Catholics. You got to separate. Catholicism and Christianity are two completely different things. If you were to tell a Christian or say Christian, are you Catholic? They would be offended. Why? Because the Catholicism have this so many atrocity things. If you were to look up the history of Christianity and Catholicism, Christianity murdered zero. Murder zero. And if you find a Christian that's so-called who murders someone, that's not a real Christian at all. That's not a real Christian. The Catholics, on the other hand, oh my gosh, they have murdered countless of all people, of like thousands, millions, to support their satanic agenda. Catholicism, if you didn't have their money, let's say they're going to extort you by so-called taxes. If you didn't have their money, these guys would have murdered your entire family. This is basically a satanic mafia cult. Just like this. Like if you were to tell a Muslim, are you a Wahhabist? They will be offended. Wahhabism and Islam completely different. Wahhabism is a satanic cult. If you were to come up to a Jew and say, "Are you a Zionist?" They will also be offended because Judaism and Zionism are completely different. The three Abraham religions don't identify with these satanic cults. This satanic cult was created to mislead people. And just like in the Bible, it says you have to watch out for these types of false prophets, false religions. And let's talk about also religions too. Are you still here?
Yeah, you're still here.
Okay. Well, let's talk about also religion. So you said about religion was just to control the masses. A lot of people, oh my gosh, a lot of people don't understand what is religion at all. They don't understand what is religion. Like when a person say, matter of fact, you're religious. All of us are religious. What is religious? Religious is having axiom of values. Whether someone like it or not, they're religious at the end of the day. Without religion, there will be atrocities. Without religion, we won't be having these occult, beautiful knowledges. So without religion, we won't have literature, arts, all these amazing things, Zachary. And let's talk about the history of religion. Hello?
Yeah, you're on. I'm letting you talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Something with my phone. So okay, let's talk about the history of religion. Why is there so many religions in this earth? So let's go back to the old Babylon days. So there was one, about the one language, one people, one nation, all that stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So the New World Order isn't a new idea at all. It's been done before. Matter of fact, countless times. In the Atlantean times, and so on. So when a person say they want a one world language, one world nation, it sounds good on paper, but the thing is, it has flaws. Major flaws, dangerous flaws. And if someone found these flaws, this could be very, very dangerous.
Okay.
Just like flaws in like flaws in capitalism, flaws in communism. So if someone okay, so they were going to storm heaven, so God rained down their ashes. Is one word. So he split the whole nations into separate groups, individuals. So Satan would have a harder time to conquer them all.
Okay.
So the idea between good and evil goes back to Genesis. Good and evil has always been in wars since the beginning of ages. So humans, in the Bible it says interesting thing. It says if you were to eat the fruit, you will gain knowledge.
Right.
It's not that we gain knowledge, but we consume the idea of evil.
Okay.
And that we were good. We were perfect beings. We only knew good. We didn't know no concept of evil. But as the devil, king of all evils, brought this idea. And this idea, not only we became part of this idea, but it became part of us.
Yeah, that makes sense. Caller, listen, you can call back again. It's just there's a lot of people on hold, and I'd appreciate people kept to one idea. You've hit a number of ideas. Don't conflate Catholicism with Christianity. You like religion. The one world order is a bad idea. I appreciate it, and there'll be a next time. But I just got to keep it moving just so other people who are waiting patiently can get on too. But thank you. So he already hung up. All right, let's go out to Virginia. Let's try that again. All right, there we go. Virginia, you're on. Virginia? Maybe Virginia's just listening. All right, we'll move on. Thanks for listening, Virginia. Let's go out to Washington State.
Hello.
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 Yeah, you're
I'm
on.
out of Vancouver, Washington. How you doing, buddy?
Vancouver, Washington, where I went to high school.
I'm new at this, so I don't get it wrong if I'm a little slow. But earlier there was a guy talking about ship and how words have double meanings and extra meanings and how a lot of things are hidden in words. Well, a good friend of mine, we were talking about music and writing raps one night, and he said we need to write a song and start it with the word that has two different meanings. Well, I just was thinking about all day. I've been hearing about death, this, murder, that, kill, 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 and it's actually quite depressing and sad that people are all mad, always trying to find a reason to be mad or blame or hate, and all they want to do is bash God. But what are they mad about? They're mad about the hate. They're mad about the things that are wrong in this world. So it's kind of counterproductive to keep the bad shit going. But anyways, so I looked up flesh, death, like death of your flesh, and spirit, birth. And it came to 110. And it was pretty interesting because one of the words that came up was, this is gematria effect. And lately I've been noticing that everything's connected. People, situations, articles in the news, so on and so forth. And 6 degrees of separation is also 110. And, from death comes life. So, and also from the ashes we will rise. And lastly on that 110 was, I want to be among friends. And I'll end it on that. I'd like to be among friends and not so many enemies. It'd be nice. So hopefully these numbers get their shit right and I can be amongst friends. That's all I got to say.
All right, appreciate it, friend. Well put. All right, you have a good night. Thank you for calling in. Vancouver, Washington. Just in the news the other week, shooting by the numbers at the senior home. I don't believe it. Let's go out to Kansas. Kansas?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, perfect. You're on.
Hey, Zach.
Yes.
I've got it on speakerphone. Should I put it on just regular?
Whatever you prefer. You sound
Can
fine
you
to
hear
me.
me okay on?
You sound great.
Okay. I've been listening to you since you started on TFR. The only reason I'm on the phone tonight is because TFR is not coming through, and the listen only line keeps cutting out. So I thought, well, I've been wanting to talk to Zach anyway.
Perfect.
So anyway, I got to tell you a short little ditty on the generics or the whatever. On the 7th, on Monday, I woke up at like 5 a.m. to the sound of my dog chewing on himself. So I grabbed the flashlight, and sure enough, he had a flea. So I made a pre-dawn trip to Walmart and got the flea medicine, came back and put it on him, and walked him for an hour and came back and said, this is the day I'm going to join Zach's Patreon. So I sat down and signed up. And when I bought the flea medicine, the total was $42.42. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. 242s because my name's Jackie. And so when I sign up on Patreon, I'm number 2042.
Crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, yesterday I'm getting my hair cut and I'm telling the stylist about it, and she's, heard a little bit about gematria and stuff and the generic side of it, or whatever you call that. Anyway, I've been watching your sports decodes for a week and I'm having to create new brain cells to hold it all. But anyway, I'm telling her, the synchronicities and stuff, like when you go through a drive-through and then the total for your food will be the same as your street address.
Right.
And, oh, yeah. She says, that's happened to me. So then I left there and I go through the drive-through and the total is 848, my street address. And I could write a book on the synchronicities in my life, but also with the Masons messing with my family,
Caller.
destroying my...
Caller, I'm sorry. Pause right there because the music just kicked in. We'll be right back. Sorry about that.
They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with iLife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil. But the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with iLife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to iLife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's iLife.com, AYALife.com.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Taping Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7021.
For millennia, mankind has been searching for answers to the big questions, such as, where did the universe come from? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Are we alone? And just what the heck is the Sasquatch all about? I can't promise you answers, and neither can the Woo Crew, but they invite you to join them Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight in the UK, for Freaky Friday, exclusively on Truth Frequency Radio. Spirituality, multiverse, quantum mechanics, the occult, and so much conspiracy analysis that it will make your mind melt. Take my word for it. Freaky Friday. It's more than a show. It's a way of life. I am Stephen Hawking, and I am proud to be a Wookiee.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the truth frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We're in the final 30 minutes. We've almost completed the entire standing episode, and we're taking your calls the rest of the way. Got a great storyteller on the line out of Kansas, what he calls the generic side of gematria. I call the organic side. But telling a great story. He got interrupted by the commercial break, so we're going to let him finish up. Then we're going to Georgia. Then we're going to Florida. Then Toronto. Then West Virginia, then Seattle, then California, and then California again. All right, Kansas, apologies for the interruption. You got the floor again.
Hey, that's all right, Zach. Oh, my phone's echoing now.
Let me down the volume. Maybe that'll be better. Try it again.
Okay. How's that?
Sounds good over here.
It's good now.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I could talk for a month about this stuff, but I've known about numerology since 1983, and I used to listen to Mark Passio some, but he's kind of a shill, I think. Most of the people on the Truther networks are shills now. But anyway, the stuff that I can tell you is about over the airways. I don't want to make myself a target.
Sure, I get it.
But anyway, I'll tell you one more, and thank you, organic. I couldn't think of that,
Sure.
But anyway, so
can I interrupt you real quick? Can I interrupt you? Can I interrupt you? Sorry, I got to interrupt. Just sorry, this might sound dumb, but right as you were on the phone for 67 minutes, like right after it ticked to 67, you thanked me for organic, and the word organic using the alphabetic order equals 67. So just another one of those weird synchronicities just right there in real time.
Wow, it happens to me every day, all day. And because I'm paying attention, I guess. But anyway, yeah, they ran us out of farming 12-foot snow drifts the first week in May, 79. We lost half our cows and half our calves. Those comes in the chemtrails in the nucleated snow. It builds up in their nostrils and suffocates them. But anyway, a lot more to it than that. But my youngest brother died in January 17th of 79. He was electrocuted on the farm. And that was right before we had to take bankruptcy. But anyway, to a lighter story. So last October, he was born in 64, May 22nd, and died January 17th of 79. He was only 14 years old.
That's sad.
But anyway, so last July 1st of 17, my other younger brother, Mark, passed away with a massive heart attack, and he was only 60 years old. And he was born December 7th of 56. But anyway, so he was going to leave us a little bit of company stock that he had when he died. And I wanted to use it to buy a classic car in memory of him and my brother and my dad. And so last October, I'm looking on Craigslist and there's a 64 Thunderbird. Looks really good in the picture. So I drive up to McPherson and look at it. Didn't drive worth a shit. I didn't know what was wrong with it. It didn't have any power steering fluid in it. And so I just came home and forgot about it. Well, my wife and I were married on December 12th of 86 in Vancouver, Washington. So anyway, this guy calls me, and then my dad also died on December 12th on our 9th anniversary in 95. But anyway, he calls me, the guy that had the Thunderbird on the 12th, and says, hey, you know, my mom liked you and she thinks you'd really enjoy this car. And he had wanted $10,000 for it, you know. And she said you could have it for $3,500 if you want it. I'm like, damn, you're making this hard on me. Well, I went up there and took a friend that's a good mechanic, and he looked at it and he thought it was worth $3,500. So I bought it on January 2nd and brought it home, drove it home, put power steering fluid in it and drove it home. And anyway, it's a 64. My brother was born in 64. And then all the 1212s. And, you know, it was synchronicity I couldn't pass up.
Sure.
But now the damn thing's taken almost the money. I've only got like 2,000 left, and I've been planning on going to Vegas. You know, that's why I joined Patreon, because I want this deal off, and I think that's the way we can do it, is by winning and then giving you the winnings to do what we need to do, you know?
Well,
because I've been talking to people on the...
Honestly, I don't want you to give me your winnings. I want to help people overcome their situation. So I'd love to hear when people are winning. And like last year, a guy called me, he said, man, you've helped me win so much with sports. I was finally able to get my car fixed up and out of the garage, and now I don't have to take the bus. That's what I like to hear. I mean, I appreciate you guys just supporting each month. So by all means, that will be our goal to help you.
I've been surviving on $9.50 a month Social Security since my wife passed away in 2004. And yeah, it's tough, but I'm living in the house that they brought her home from the hospital in 1940, December 25th. And this is the same phone number that's been with this house since 1940. Her phone was a third-degree Scottish Rites. And so this is a Masonic home, and it doesn't show up on the Google Street View.
Interesting.
It's blocked out. I don't know why that is, but anyway, I could go on and on and on about the death and destruction and the sacrifices and the whole 9 yards. I mean, I know a lot, and I've been talking about it for a long time, but I got my first knowledge that first started waking up when I lived in Portland. And the reason we moved out there is because I have 3 stepchildren that were severely hearing impaired. So we put them in the deaf school in Vancouver.
I know where that is.
And we lived out there for 6 years.
Yeah. I'm familiar with that school. I actually used to officiate basketball there sometimes. Yeah. Interesting.
It was funny, they had a blind guy on the football team.
Huh. Yeah, interesting.
Anyway, Bud Clark and his trips to Bangkok and all of that. We rented our basement out to a couple of teenage boys, and they told us about the child trafficking and all of that and the IRS, and that was my initial wake up. But then I put back, you know, going back in my family history and everything and what I'd been told and all of that, you know, I could write a book on it. My grandfather separated from his other, there were 13 children, and he took the grandparents and moved to western Kansas and left them in central Kansas. And it was over them becoming Masons. And he chose not to, and they slapped my family down every step of the way, our whole lives. In fact, farm with weather control, and I could go on and on and on, but I won't because there's other callers, and I hope you enjoyed the stories anyway.
I did. You're a great storyteller, and I'd love for you to call back and share with us more. But thank you so much, because you're right. There are other people online, so there's always next time. You have a good night, friend, and appreciate you supporting the work and calling in.
Thank you, Zach. Good night.
All right, good night. Take care.
Oh, leave me on.
Oh, no, sorry. I muted you early, but yeah, I'm going to leave you on the line. No problem. You're still on. All right, let's go out to Georgia. Georgia? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on. I hear you.
All right, glad to talk to you again.
Thanks for calling back.
Just wanted to say, starting off that, I grew up, I'm from Georgia, and, saying that growing up in the Bible Belt down here, you were really forced your religion here. Jesus is everything from birth, everything. So just want to say to some of the callers out there, I know how painful it can be to kind of swallow that pill and kind of question things. And, it kind of goes against your very nature to go outside the box, but it's a really liberating thing once you start seeing, I've lost all my friends due to gematria. Everybody thinks I'm crazy, but so they just don't want to see the truth. But, at the end of the day, it is a liberating thing. But after saying that, I would like to say that we had talked about some of the people missing in national parks last week. And I want to say this. Funny that you say that, the intelligent people and how they don't want intelligent people. The majority, and it's the overwhelming majority of people that go missing in national parks are highly intelligent professors, teachers, scientists, really academic type people. So it's a really fascinating aspect of that. And those are the people who are never found, bodies never recovered. So I'm really just curious thing with that. But I want to keep it short and sweet. But, I was going down the road and talking about some of this cube stuff. I couldn't help but see what, they're building at Best Buy. And if you look at Best Buy's logo, it is definitely a cube. And just like, Mercedes, which got me on this thing, like, I was in the mall and saw this Kardashian symbol. It's a cube. And it's just funny what a cube is. But ending, I have a question for you.
Please.
Not sure if you saw this whole Fortnite thing lately.
Somebody told me it was shut down for an unknown reason. I don't know a lot about it, but that's what I heard.
It was certainly some type of ritual in it. It was a live event where I think they said 250 million people logged in, and the result they said that children, something like 100 million people, children were crying for days to this event. I can't help but think it was some kind of a ritual, but what it was, players logged in and they saw a meteor suspended over the map, and a rocket then takes off. And they say the rocket is piloted by a visitor from another place. And the rocket initially saves the thing by sending it into a rift, but then the rockets go up and crack what appears to be like a glass dome over the world, which allows another meteor to come in, crash into this bottomless pit type thing, and the players are then sucked into a black hole, and that's when it shut down. But when the black hole initially shut down, 4 numbers were displayed around the black hole. And man, I tried to call you, and I know you're a busy person. I tried to call you a few days ago, but the numbers were this, and I don't know if you can kind of reverse engineer this, but the numbers were 146, 11, 15, 62. And that was just what was displayed around the black hole, and then kids were crying for 48 hours. But I'll leave it at that, man. Really looking forward to the website, and we really need a place where we can get together, because I can know how alienating it can be. Pardon the expression.
Right, indeed. The website, it's getting really close. So I'm excited to announce it. It should be, I imagine it's maybe a week out, 2 weeks at the most, but it's super close. So I appreciate the call and the heads up. I'll look
All right.
into it and see if I can make sense of those numbers. That is really weird, though. I hadn't heard that. I'd heard the server went down and it was for some unknown reason, but I'm going to look more into that. That is really weird. And I had no idea that, wow, 250 million people play. I mean, that's amazing. That's like almost the entire country. So crazy.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they say the amount of revenue they lost was certainly in the billions from being shut down. So I can't help but think that a company that brings in so much, which is owned by Bill Gates, by the way.
Huh.
And I saw those four numbers in gematria. I was like, man, I wonder if he can reverse engineer them, or anybody listening. 146-11-15-62.
146.
Love y'all all, man.
146 is big with United Kingdom. You can think of like the June 14th apartment fire in the United Kingdom. Apartment fire equaled 146 United Kingdom. Game of Thrones is 146. I'm sure there's something more to that number, but that's just the first thing I think of with that number. And 62 is Mason. I'd have to look at it more. There's probably some sort of riddle there. Maybe it even connects to the name of the game. So I'll take a peek at it.
Last thing, interesting enough, the name of this event was The End.
The End, huh? Okay.
Yeah, just to go with the end game and everything else is getting jammed down my throat right now. But thanks again, man.
All right,
Have a great
welcome.
night.
Appreciate the heads up. I'll check it out. All right, take care. Okay, Florida. Florida, you got the floor.
Hey, I just wanted to say something to the lady that was calling about. She said something about Roseanne being on Joe Rogan.
Right.
One of the things that I noticed a long time ago about Roseanne is that in the show, in her show, the family lives at 714 Delaware Street.
Uh-huh.
And then there's like two cipher overlap with Delaware and Connor, which is the last name of the family. It's 69 and 33.
Right.
Connor is 33. Delaware is 33.
Yeah.
It's the same two cipher overlap you get with Goyam, coincidentally, maybe.
Huh.
There's a bunch of other stuff. There's a bunch of other stuff here with the Roseanne thing. Oh, that was the other thing. When they brought the show back, you heard about all that stuff, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the show was gone for like all this time, and they bring it back, and I didn't find anything that jumped out at me with the duration of time, but they count the episodes, like they do the season count, but then they just have a raw count. It's just a serial count, and it was episode 223 when they finally brought the show back.
Huh. Perfect.
So like it was like the first episode of the 10th season or something like that. And so like the address thing, like you can find there's a lot of other shows. I mean, we're not gonna ramble on about it, but like another show is like All in the Family. All in the Family, they live at 704 Hauser Street.
Similar.
And then I think that was all I was going to tell you. Oh yeah, the other thing I was going to tell you, the last thing, when you were talking about like fake truthers, like selling T-shirts.
Right.
I noticed that shirt and Jewish have a 3 cipher overlap.
Huh. It's funny. Interesting.
All right, that's
man.
all I got, man.
All right, appreciate it. Have a good night.
Take it easy.
All right, yeah, you too. Take care.
You too.
Okay, let's go to our northern neighbor, Toronto. Wait, hold on. I'm having trouble operating the call board here. There we go. Toronto, you got the floor.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, you're on.
Back?
Yes.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh, you're loud and clear. Perfect.
Okay, good. It's Mika Chimes from Toronto.
Very nice. Thanks for calling back.
Yeah. So listen, I love talking to you about football. I love your show, right? But I'm a big football fanatic, right? And I was going to say, so you see, because I look at your videos, and when you do the gematria thing, but you see all these games like Dallas and the Jets and who played the other night, Detroit and Green Bay.
Right.
So I do a lot of unders and overs, right? Okay, and the under and over, you know what those are?
Of course.
Yeah, of course you know. So the under and over for the Jets game was 42.5, and the under and over for the Green Bay Packers was 45.5. Well, can it be any more fixed? Like 40, and the game ends at 42, the total, and the game in the Packers ends at 45.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's way too close to the half, you know?
Well, exactly. Long before I knew gematria, I just made observations like that, and I was like, "There's no way anybody could be that." Even if you had the smartest group of men in a room in the morning setting the spreads, I mean, it's just impossible the way it always works out. It just shows that it's fixed.
Yeah, and you know what? And you know, I'm just gonna say it like, you know, covertly. I do my pools, but you only really notice this stuff if you do bet on kind of pool things, right?
Exactly. If you're not a gambler and you don't pay attention to those things, you'd never notice.
You don't notice because you can go make a sandwich while the play is on. So you don't notice these things unless you really gamble on. I've been doing it all my life here, you know. But I was going to say, I wonder how it works like when they are fixed. I guess Vegas must be partners with the big shots who own NFL, right?
Of course.
Like they must get a share, a cut, right?
Well, I again, absolutely, and I mean, if you look at the network of people who own the casinos and the NFL teams, you know, they're all in the same religion, if you will. So.
Yeah. I mean, now, anyways, now gambling is legal. You can go to the variety store and gamble. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. But I just always wondered, you know, if it is fixed, which obviously it is. I mean, I guess Vegas must be in partnerships with the NFL, and there's no way Vegas is going to let, you know, even probably as low as 200,000 bettors. They're not going to lose that kind of money, you know.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, it probably goes up to a few million, the people that bet on the Vegas line. So I can't see them losing all that money when in actual fact, you know who really should win, you know?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, you know what? Yeah, no, that's what I want to talk to you about. I was just thinking of Vegas, you know, how it, you know, I'm just thinking, well, when it's all said and done, how do they get their cut? I guess, you know, they must be cahoots with Vegas, so to speak, you know?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, I love talking to you about football. So I just thought, you know, it was fun to talk to you about somebody who actually sees what I see in the games, you know?
You got it. Well, call us again. Great observations and points. I appreciate it. You have a good night.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you for everything. Talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good. You take care.
Bye.
So we're down to about 4 minutes a show. If you guys can keep your call to 1 minute or less, we can get through the next group of callers. Let's go out to West Virginia. West Virginia? West Virginia maybe just listening tonight? Okay, I'm going to assume West Virginia's just listening. Let's try Seattle, Washington. Hello, you're on.
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
Hi, Zach. How are you today?
Doing well. How are you?
Great. Can you hear me?
Perfect. You're perfect. I hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if you were talking to me or not. But anywho, I just wanted to tell you, Zach, I'm just so amazed every single day by your book. I love it. I haven't read it all yet because I keep starting over. There's so much information to wrap my head around. But I do get it. I understand it. And I see it every day. And I don't know how anyone can question the work. I mean, it's there. Mathematics is what it is. Mathematics.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I feel the same way.
That's pretty much all I had to say.
Well, thank you so much. And it's nice to hear from somebody in Seattle. So you made my night with your compliment. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Zach. I've been following you since you started, even before when you first said that you were going to write a book.
Right.
And I didn't know at those times that you were being deleted. I wasn't really, I didn't know that information. Then when I found you right before you were releasing the book, then I found out you had been deleted so many times. But Zach, one other thing, I see Gematria, and I'm a Hebrew. I have an identity now. I'm not a color, but it feels good to have an identity. But I just see it. I see 42 all the time. Mm-hmm. That's my synchronicity. I don't know if I'm consciously just look up and whatever I may see on the clock, it's always something with 42 at the end. And I see 42 in license plates. I mean, I just see it everywhere. But I am just so glad, Zach, you have freed me. You opened my eyes. It is just such a wonderful feeling to be smart. Smarter. I've always been smart. I just didn't know what was going on. Sure. I used to see it. I didn't know how to explain it. I always felt I was just in some big rolling machine that is going and it never stops. And you can't stop it. But now I've stopped it. I've removed myself from a lot of things. And I have you to thank for that. And I really, really wish you well. And I hope everybody will buy this book. I try to get it to everybody I know, but people I know won't read. So it's just a shame. But I love you, Zach, and you keep up the good work and you stay safe.
I will, and you do the same. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your call. You have a good night.
Absolutely. Good night.
All right, take care. Okay. And Yoba Linda, California, you're going to get the last call. We got 45 seconds till the music kicks in, so take it away.
Hey, good evening to you, Zach, and everybody listening. First and foremost, thank you, man, for allowing this platform for people like me and other people that feel alienated and kind of tucked away from normal society just based on being woke. I kind of wanted to reiterate on some things because I saw a little clip and a gentleman by the name of, he goes by BRU space KO on YouTube, and he's been in a really impeccable outlet as far as waking people up just based on movies, and believe it or not, a lot of the symptoms. And it's not comical.
Caller, I'm really sorry. The music kicked in. If you want to call me on the Gematria hotline, I'm going to go grab that phone. You can call me right back. We'll stay after for a little bit. We'll be right back, everybody. Caller?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up?
Just wanted to first say happy birthday to Bryce Harper.
Funny.
Just hilarious. And also, I got that phrase for you. I called a couple days ago with that Fortnite just thing I wanted to clue you in on. So I got the rest of those numbers, and it actually was decoded by some of these online hackers that were just trying to see what was going on with the game.
Okay.
So it broke down into, quote, I was not alone. Others were outside the loop. This was not calculated. The moment is now inevitable.
Huh.
And if you want the exact numbers, I could just read them off to you real quick.
Yeah.
And double check it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 11, 146, 15, 62,
Okay.
87,
87.
14, 106, 2.
Hold on. Go back. 87, 14, 106.
Yeah.
And then what? 2?
Yeah. 150, 69, 146 again.
69.
15, yeah, 69, yes. Then 146 again. Then 15 again. 36. And then there's 5 more numbers. 2, 176, the number 8, 160, and 65.
And what was the last one?
The last one was 65.
65. And somebody decoded that and figured out what all those words meant?
Yeah, because the game is mostly centered around the PC, so you have a lot of people who are able to like interpret code and read code. And I don't know how they were able to do this, but as soon as the numbers went live, everybody on the internet was trying to crack it and figure out what was going on. And about 8 hours later, 10 hours later, this came out and it was verified by a Fortnite staffer.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. And I caught the tail end of that guy's convo. I didn't really understand, but I figured it had something to do with aliens or something. I didn't really hear it.
Huh. Huh.
No, I'm talking about the guy that called in about 20 minutes ago. That was your show.
No, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he had 4 numbers, so there was more to it.
Yeah, he just had the first line because those were the first initial numbers that came up. But it was down for a couple of days, so all these other numbers winded up coming out as well.
Interesting. Got it. Huh.
All right, just wanted to get that to you.
All right.
And also, I had one quick question, Zach. What do you think is the reason behind this race delay on the anniversary of Aaron Boone's game winner?
Yeah, well, now it pushes the game to a date with New York numerology. It's got 39 date numerology tomorrow, the big New York number. So
wouldn't it be like a perfect time to like flip the switch, Zach?
it's possible. It could also be.
I say that because of the Houston Rockets thing with the leak and that kind of reminds me of the Tiger Woods thing after the first initial event.
Right.
Everybody just jumped on that.
Right. Yeah. Could be.
All right, that was it.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Great show.
All right, thanks, man. Have a good night.
The commercials are getting better. I like them.
Yeah, they're not bad. All right, man. Thanks. All right, see you. Caller? Hello?
This is Kane. I called in the Gematria thing earlier.
Right. Yeah.
I got a quick moment, man, so I can get away from work for a little while. I don't want to hold you up or anything, but I'll put the pressure on you. Was there anything that you found, any connections to that cupcake, that Camille cupcake, 3-0 she got abducted a few days ago? I tried to do a little digging in, but my wife, she's always nagging about me with the gematria thing. I got a wife, kids, and I'll be trying to scare her off. But I told her there's some fishy behind that because a lot of kids don't go missing just like that at a birthday party or however they described it in the news. But I was hoping you could put the numbers to it, to clarify some things.
Well, here's what I noticed. So again, we talked about how her name equals 67 and 86, like blood sacrifice. And 67 also connects to the word satanic. And the day she disappeared on was October 12th, the day leaving 80 days left in the year, and Satan equals 80. So this looks like some dark, sick, twisted kidnapping, maybe murder ritual to me, just from that.
It is like me and my wife, we had like a disagreement on it at first because I try to tell her that anything that you see on the news is bullcrap. If they feed it to you, it's gonna be bullcrap.
Mm-hmm.
She always telling you do a conspiracy theory, this and that, and you the numbers guy. Like the numbers, you're not gonna miss with the numbers, but some kind of way, like she was at a birthday party in the, like I said, in the projects. We call them the projects. So however you want to put it, the projects. And like I was telling her, I was like, the projects don't sleep. Like people are always up, always seeing things, always hearing things. Projects never sleep. And there's no way a 3-year-old kid just comes up missing at a birthday party. That just doesn't add up at all.
Right. So yeah.
I appreciate you just a little work. I try to do a little bit more digging. That's really like what's going on in my area so far. But I'll let you have it, man. I appreciate you letting me back on, and have a good one.
Okay. Yeah, you have a good night, friend. Thank you. All right, let me try to call this person back. I think they're the person who got interrupted at the end of the show, and they've been trying to call in. Oh, well, all right, I'll take this call first. Caller?
Yeah.
Hello.
I just wanted to speak on this ESPN 3030 I saw last night.
Okay.
And I might further some of the stuff you're looking at. It was on Taylor Steves and Dana White. Basically, they're uprising. And I started taking some notes after I heard Dana White say show. And actually, I'm a former Division I wrestler, and I actually forgot who won the UFC reality show, and even though I haven't talked to him in about 10 years, it might be interesting to talk to him now after I came upon your research and all that. Some of the things that kind of struck me about Tito Ortiz too, when he was talking about in this documentary about his uprise in the UFC, he was inspired by pro wrestling, and that's kind of how he got into the UFC. I kind of found that hilarious. And also, when he was talking about his dispute with like Jenna Jameson, his wife, they were showing camera footage in this documentary, like from inside his home and stuff. And I just kind of found that interesting how that was there. Anyways, I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller, and I appreciate your work, Zach. I'll just leave it there, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate it very much. Have a good night. Thank you. Caller?
Hey, Zach, I know you don't have a lot of time and you're busy, but I just wanted to chime in on the Fortnite thing that another caller had brought up a few minutes ago.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I texted you when this trend, or if something was trending on Twitter about Fortnite. Bob, if you know Bob Saget, I don't know if I'm saying it right, from Full House.
Yeah, Bob Saget, yeah.
So this went out that it was trending that he was tweeting about it. So you know your followers, trained us to do the homework. So I did the homework on Fortnite in the reverse reduction. And Bob Saget and the reverse reduction, and I think a few other numbers, sum out to earthquake.
Huh.
And I kept my eye on the earthquake, and sure enough, we had a 4.5, and it hit Walnut Creek, I believe it was Monday.
Okay.
And I've been seeing a lot of 45s in the news, so I don't know if this has connection with Trump, Super Bowl 54. It could be a whole lot of things. But I do know this Fortnite thing was definitely a ritual, and that has a lot to do with, I believe, earthquake. Because, reverse reduction is earthquake or some type of natural disaster. So just want to chime in on that.
So the one thing I don't know a lot about this Fortnite game. Why is it so popular?
Well, I don't want to put too much out there about myself, but I work with kids, and kids love Fortnite. It's just a popular video game in 2019. I think it's really killing the youth. But it's just a game everyone really loves, and I guess adults love it because the caller before said what it was about 200-point-some million. That's the whole country. So I don't know, man. I think it's a psyop. It's the reason why people are hooked on this game. It's really trash, if you ask me. Yeah, the numbers at the end that the guy had said, it really couldn't match up any more than what I had saw with the reverse reduction. I know you said 146 or whatnot, but stay on the lookout for that.
Okay, I got to research this story more. Yeah, I didn't realize that there was any video game in the world that 250 million people played. I mean, that's a lot of people. So I'm sure it's worldwide, but still, that's a lot of people. So.
Also, I have another question for you, Zach. I know a video a month ago or so, you said something about Jadeveon Clowney and Seattle Seahawks. Do you have any of the latest on that?
I forget what it was. I just whenever I think about that guy, I was watching the NFL draft when he was the #1 pick, and I remember as they went to commercial break, he said, "I sold my soul for this," and I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they just put that on TV." But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, before I let you go, I just want to note that 3 days after 11/8, which would be November 8th, the Seahawks will play the 49ers in Santa Clara. So hopefully nothing happens, but, a lot of numbers are lining up for a natural disaster of some sort.
All right, I'll check that out. Appreciate it, man.
Have a good night.
All right, take care. Yeah, you too. Okay, let me try to call back this person who got interrupted at the end of the show. Okay, I'm calling them now. Hey, Zach, you're on.
Hey, Zach, you're on. All right, right on.
Oh, just do me a favor. Mute the video in the background. Otherwise, we'll get feedback.
I apologize. Okay, so basically, I saw a clip of one of your shows about the Treasure Island in San Francisco, and there was a lot of hype about this impending doom that was supposed to happen on 8/11, and I know a lot of people were aware of it, and I was so sure that something was going to happen because NASA was implying some weird stuff on their site, and of course, nothing did happen. But
No, whoa, way wrong, man. So much stuff went down on August 11th, and again, it's like what kills me about the August 11th thing is every time anybody called in about it, I always said just watch Temple Mount that day. Watch Temple Mount. That's what the initial prediction was, that they would do something at Temple Mount, which they did. They sprayed all the, but there were so many things that went down on August 11th that day. It was a huge day with events. You had the event at Temple Mount, which is unprecedented, spraying the worshipers with tear gas. Tear gas equals 118. And then you had the massive police crackdown in Hong Kong, HK 8/11, and that was synced up with Tisha B'Av. And then you had 3 major natural disasters in the world that day: massive forest fire, tsunami, earthquake, also major flooding. So, I mean, all sorts of stuff went down on August 11th. And
I guess what I'm trying to say is it wasn't the initial, Golden Gate Bridge disaster that.
Again, that was like that's the Golden Gate Bridge thing was very unlikely. That wasn't the thing. The reason people started talking about the Golden Gate is because, again, that's connected to the prophecy of the third temple. And so, again, I mean, those were like the more abstract thoughts. The main point was watch Temple Mount on August 11th to see what they do. And sure enough, they had their 118 event there with the tear gas all over the Muslim worshipers. So.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I definitely, I was very aware of the Temple Mount thing just because, it all falls in with prophecy, and I'm on board with a lot of that stuff. And I guess what I'm trying to say for the 8/11 thing, I saw a clip that somebody called and was, detailing the occult references to Treasure Island with the Silver Gate, passing through ISIS and stuff like that. And it was on this gentleman's channel that actually, it's a very unique outlet because he decodes a lot of the Simpson stuff, and it's stuff that I haven't seen anybody else do as far as the truther community. So, I saw a video where you said your friend passed away, and it sucks, man, because I just being in this holding mind state, it leads some of us to really start thinking those thoughts, man. And it's just because society deems you, and it's like you don't have to be a crack, and you don't have to be somebody undesirable. You can be a perfectly intelligent person, and people will still demean you and act like you're less than because you know what's going on in the world. And what people aren't talking about, Zach, is very important. I don't hear anybody talking about God, and it's very imperative that people start to realize what the impending doom is. Now, everybody knows the news is bullshit, bull crap. Everybody knows that, these politicians are spewing lies. But what it comes down to is humanity isn't coming together. Humanity is, still repelling from each other. And people aren't understanding that everything that's happening is all in line with what was foretold. And, it's funny because when I first saw Donald Trump campaigning, I thought, I've never really been in politics like that. I'm just, a dude from the beach, never really cared about that stuff. And the first thing that Donald Trump did that caught my attention was, he fired everybody in the White House within the first couple of weeks there. People just started, everybody rotated out of there. And I'm like, this is unprecedented. So I started, watching what happened. And the Russian collusion thing hit, then the Stormy Daniels, I'm watching all these theatrics, and people are really, so immersed in this stuff. I'm watching everyone around me, like, really get so sucked into this psyop and this psychological warfare. It's like, you try to wake people up, and people just don't get it. They laugh, and it's really scary considering the state of affairs. And I just wanted to, put this message out there, man. We need to come together and really start figuring out how we can get a community and more people to start, bringing knowledge in. Gematria is obviously a thing, man, is what really trips me out. Like, you know, God is waking people up, and people aren't acknowledging that. You know, like it just doesn't happen to people by chance. Like, there's people that are literally been woken from slumber to help other people wake up, and there's not enough of us, man. So, you know, I just wanted to thank you for giving me the platform and allowing me to, you know, share my brother Bruco's, you know, information as well. And I encourage people to check out that channel, man. And I appreciate you, Zach. Thank you for listening.
All right, you're welcome, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, community is definitely something we need a lot more of, and that's the goal. So as soon as the website launches, I'm trying to do my part to help bring more people together and make it happen. So, all right, man. You have a good night.
All right, take care.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, take care. See you. Caller?
Zach,
Yeah,
are you still live?
I'm still live.
Hey man, did you guys talk about Patrick Day's death today and Errol Spence Jr. getting that DWI today?
So there's two boxing stories. I saw the death of the boxer, and his name, Patrick Day, equals 45. He's dead on a date with 45 numerology, and he's dead 4 days after getting knocked out. That number 4 that's always around death. I saw he died 68 days after his birthday. I caught the story at the beginning of the show, so I was decoding it during the commercial break. But he died 68 days after his birthday. And that's another number that's connected to death. Caskets go 6 feet deep or 8 feet long. So I have to look into the boxer he was fighting. That's the piece of the story I don't know yet.
Yeah, just real quick, what I noticed, Patrick Day reminds me of St. Patrick's Day, right?
True. Yeah.
And then I was just thinking, you know, Errol Spence on the same day that we checked when Errol Spence had his last fight before the Porter fight. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And it was on March 16th, the day before St. Patrick's Day. So it was like that weekend. And from St. Patrick's Day to today is 213 days, like that. It's a canon.
Right.
And St. Patrick's Day is also the 76th day of the year, and today is equal 76 days left in the year.
It's the reflection day,
blood
right?
Sacrifice.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that's true.
So that's just what I noticed. I just, you know, want to see if you guys had something on it already, or.
Well, it sounds like you've.
I actually can listen in here now, so.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything, so.
Well, you just connected a lot of dots there, so yeah, I think you're on it.
Cool, man. Thanks for everything you do, Zach.
All right.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, welcome. Keep up the good work, man. Thank you. Have a good night.
Later.
Yeah, people are getting good, man. The dude Bruco, who the last caller was. Oh well, we got another call. I'll say what I was going to say in a second. Caller. Hello.
Yeah, I just wanted to address the call. The caller that called in. The call before in regards to basically saying that 8/11 got it wrong and it wasn't San Francisco, the Golden Gate, et cetera, and so on. I just wanted to refer him to an article. If he just puts in Google, Golden Gate between China and Taiwan.
Right.
That was the actual Golden Gate on 8/11. And if you type that in, you'll see that there was a typhoon. 1 million people evacuated as deadly typhoon Lakima makes landfall, and that was on 8/11.
Yeah.
Now that was the Golden Gate between China and Taiwan. So we did have the Golden Gate right. We just were led to San Francisco as opposed to China and Taiwan. That's what I wanted to say.
And that is true that there is that little island that they call the Golden Gate. So yeah, that is part of the riddle. But also, if you do search August 11, 2019 and type in San Francisco and Golden Gate, a story is going to pull up about the police looking for a shooter that day who shot 4 people at a McDonald's on Golden Gate Avenue. And so, yeah, I mean, we were on to what they were doing on August 11th. And I kept telling people all throughout, like in the months up to that, people were like freaking out. I said, it's not worth freaking out. I said, just really watch Temple Mount. That's probably where the thing's going to go down at. So, I mean, what bothers me is not a lot of people help spread the word. Like, look, man, we're on to how these people are operating and how they're dividing and terrorizing the people of the world. And, Yeah, so I mean that was a correct prediction, and a lot of people are heckling at me for it. Even the Anarchadelphia community that disinvited me, they were even talking some mess on their page, like, "Look how dumb Zach's August 11th prediction ended up being." I'm like, how dumb it was. I mean, wasn't it right? I called the date and the location 11 months in advance. So anyway.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are emotional and they're not logical. And when they tune into the program and they hear you talking to people about Francisco, the Golden Gate Riddle, and you go, yeah, but, I would look at Jerusalem, then they just play that back and, Zach was right there with 811 San Francisco. Well, you were basically saying to people, hey, look, there's various riddles out here. We'll try to connect the dots, but I think it's Jerusalem. But they just held on to, the 811 San Francisco because that was the bigger picture. And then they connect you to that bigger picture, and they say, see, Zach doesn't know what he's doing, blah, 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 blah. And that's just emotional nonsense. The objective here is to find out their riddles and understand them before they actually happen. And that's what we're trying to do as a community. And people that really get involved with the negativity, they need to step aside because they're really not into it for the real reason. And I just wanted to say to the guy before, there were various riddles out there, and you have to wade through them all. And Zach never said, that's it, San Francisco. He said, I think you need to be looking at Jerusalem. And that's what you said, and that needs to be clarified.
Right, and I said it countless times. That's where the whole thing started. I didn't even start with San Francisco. I just started with Temple Mount on August 11th, which was the target. So appreciate it.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that.
All right, thank you so much. You have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
All right, take care. Hold on. Caller? Say that again?
Are you doing the NFL?
No, I'm just doing the weekly radio live stream. All right, later, man. Okay. He wanted some football picks. Hopefully he took advantage of those hockey picks tonight. 3 for 3. That's how we like to do it. So let's see. I've been standing for 3 hours and 21 minutes. Do I dare stand 1 more minute? Hold on, we got another caller. Caller?
Yes, Zach.
What's going on?
Hey, not much, buddy. I called in the other night and was telling you about that high school coach that got those tickets. I looked into that a little bit more. You need to look into that, and I'm hoping I'm wrong, but it's pointing to the Chargers and Green Bay.
What is this?
The coach, his name equals 54. The foundation that gave him the ticket is 188.80, like the Chargers. So I did some investigation on the foundation, and it's actually a guy drafted by the Jets, played for the Jaguars, and the Packers just picked him up.
Okay. I'll check it out.
You want the coach's name or?
Are we talking about Anthony Lynn? Anthony Lynn?
What's that?
Well, what's the coach's name?
His name is Sam. His last name is Sirianni.
Sirianni. Sam Sirianni. Okay.
And that equals 64. And like I said, that foundation is, I don't even know how to say that, it's DOHANON Foundation. And it's a football player by the name of Tommy, whatever that last name is. And he just got signed with the practice squad for the Packers.
Huh. Okay.
And he went to this high school, and that's his old coach or something. And he gives him 2 free tickets to the Super Bowl.
Huh. Okay, I'll check that story out. Yeah, it sounds like a definite riddle.
I hope I'm wrong because, I don't want, that's different than the riddle I'm thinking. And I just wonder, they keep giving us all these, points for the Chargers. I mean, are they leading us down the wrong path?
Well, I don't know, man. I think there's better riddles out there than for the Chargers, but I'll look at it.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Thanks, man. See you.
Yeah.
Caller?
Hey, great show today. This is really your pocket. That's a great show today, Zach.
Thanks, man.
The guy from Kansas was very interesting. I hope he calls back. That was good.
Yeah, he's a good storyteller.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy you're hurt with all these bad picks. He's on the pitch, $900 a month.
Oh, bad picks, huh? Yeah, see, troll. Bad picks, I mean, I don't put out bad picks, honestly. 3 for 3 today. Yesterday, what was I, 5 and 2? What was I the day before? 5 and 1. I mean, these trolls are pathetic. Let's see. Caller?
Hey, Zach, I want to address two things you're talking about. Earlier, did you ever set up that Fortnite thing? Because I got a little insight to that Fortnite thing with my son.
Oh, tell me.
Okay, that's kind of interesting because it was season 10 of Fortnite, and it was coming to another season. It was going to be season 11.
Right.
But they changed it up, and they said it was going to be chapter 2 instead of season 11.
Huh.
If that makes any sense at all. I don't know. They didn't want to call it season 11 for some reason. And another thing, just to talk about this football game coming up tomorrow, I think it's the Broncos and Chiefs.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. Both of them equal 64 in the
Pure cipher. Right.
You think that could be total?
Well, the 164, if the Broncos upset Joe Flacco, I think if I remember right, would get his 64th all-time home win. It's possible, but I got to look at it some more.
For the game. Because I think it's 49. And you think that because of those, I've been noticing how you break down some of the totals, like last weekend with the Colorado game, and with the 38 and things like that. I'm just wondering if the 64 could play with the total over-under. I mean.
That's possible. Tomorrow's got 66 date numerology. You got 2 teams with 64 gematria. What's the over-under at? 49, huh? Gotta think about that. Yeah, I'll look at that some more before game time. We'll definitely talk about it tomorrow, so I'll let you know. All right. All right, see you, man. Okay. Yeah, trolls are pathetic people. What are you going to do about it? So, all right, you guys, I think I'm going to go sit down. So, we survived the 3-hour stand-up episode. You guys, the way the likes work on YouTube isn't like how many people like the video. For all I know, there's already been 300 likes and YouTube took away 130. I mean, have you guys ever gone back and looked at my videos that you liked before? You'd probably notice that your like wasn't there 24 hours later. So YouTube manipulates you. That's YouTube's new thing. They take away the likes, they take away the views, they take away comments. That's what I hate. People leave a good comment. Like I'll see the update on my phone. I'll be like, oh, that's a great comment. And then I'll go to the video an hour later when I have a chance to sit down in front of the computer and the comment's not there anymore. And it's not in the spam folder. It's not anywhere. So anyway, the less likes, the less comments, the less views, the less likely it is to show up in some stranger's feed. And that's what YouTube's doing to make sure that information doesn't get out. So we'll leave it there, you guys. And we'll be back, I don't know. I'm sure we'll be back before next Wednesday. So let me see. Let me see. The computer's too far away. This is the problem with standing up. The computer screen's too far away from me. The boxer story today leaves 76 days left in the year. The person he fought born on a date leaving 59 days in the year. And yeah, he's right. Slave, Negro, Rasta, Blues, they all have that connection. 5976. That's true. That means today's the anniversary of the Million Man March, isn't it? Yep, this is the day of the Million Man March. The day leaving 76 days left in the year. Pretty sure Barack Obama equals 76. Yeah, we'll do another live chat. Stand-up comedian with no jokes. Let's see. All right, appreciate all the compliments, you guys. I'm gonna have to get some new glasses that actually have some like magnification. Let's see. My man in Minnesota likes his Vikings. All right, call me up. Not tonight though, man. I just gotta chill out tonight. But call me up. Give me a call tomorrow. I'm listening. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. And until next time.